Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Coscast podcast, working title, patent pending. This is just a fun little podcast that I decided to do because I was talking to someone who I'll introduce in a second, and I was like, yo, did you see the Ninjago movie? Wasn't it cool? I really enjoyed it. It was so great. And they were like, I hated the Ninjago movie. And I was like, whoa, let's have a chat about it. And then I was like, yo, let's make a podcast out of it. And then I was like, yo, let's make it even, I don't know, whether or not this is a, full-time running series, I don't know, but, that was the thing about the BIS podcast, is that, it's essentially just a longer BIS with some questions at the end. So I was like, look, I'm probably going to want to do podcasts in the future where I'll be like, let's talk about this issue, or this movie that just came out, or whatever, so this is a forum for that, I guess. So, joining me today to discuss the LEGO Ninjago movie and other things is a one, Brendan, otherwise known as Shadowgear6335. Hey!
I think you need to workshop the name of the podcast. I'm not sure if I what did you call it? Beanpod?
I said Beanpod. Ooh. No, I called it the Coscast podcast, but working title.
If you want to call it the Beanpod, that makes more sense for you.
Holy yeah. I'm doing that. Welcome to the Beanpod podcast.
Cut that out of the podcast. It's too good. Someone's going to take that. Don't do it.
Yeah.
There's a farmer out there who's going to take that podcast name. You don't know.
That's right. There's the NSA is watching and they're like, Dave, we've got a perfect podcast name. Steal it now.
Yeah, the NSA. I'm not even in your country and you're taking my shit. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
But, hello. My name is Brendan, otherwise known as Shadowgear6335. I'm the person that people I think like. I don't know. I'm just hanging out. I'm the host of the Gearbox podcast and I make a lot of box. You probably already know who I am if you're watching Ben stuff, so hello.
That's right. You probably, I had that comment on one of the BIS episodes and they were like, was anyone else not surprised that Shadowgear was in this episode? And I was like, yeah, he's in every BIS.
Can we talk for a second that the fact you're calling the Bionicle Inspiration series BIS?
Yeah, for the longest time I didn't call it that because I thought people would be like, what's BIS? And I'd be like, Bionicle Inspiration series. I shortened it just for convenience. And then now I've just started saying BIS and just been like, forget people to know what it is, they'll figure it out, and everyone kind of gets what it is when I say that. Yeah,
more like BS. Then wait, do you just call the LEGO Inspiration series LIS?
LIS? I call it the System Inspiration series, so I call it SIS.
Oh, then SIS. Oh, yeah. God, that don't.
I know it's not. It's not as good a name.
That's a thing. Oh dear.
But it is the sister show. I'm gonna say.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
But yes, hello. So I suppose we should say what we're going to talk about, just in case people are want to know. This is also the first time you're hearing about it. Oh, no, let's not. Let's not tell people.
Oh, no, you left me in suspense now. I want to know.
Well, I'll give you one thing that we'll talk about, which I've already said, which is the LEGO Ninjago movie. So.
Ah, yes, that movie.
When I envisioned this podcast in my head, I felt like I said my thoughts about the Ninjago movie first, and then you did. But I feel like you're the guest, so I feel like it's important that you say your thoughts about it first. So before we start, spoiler warning: we're probably very likely going to spoil the Ninjago movie. So if you don't want spoilers, probably don't watch the podcast, or I might put a timestamp up, but that sounds like a lot of work, so we'll see.
If the movie itself didn't spoil what was going to happen in the movie by the media related around it already, then be prepared.
That's right.
Yeah, so here's an idea I have. I'm going to say my experience going to see the movie and give my overall thoughts, and then you do the same, and then we pick apart stuff that we want to talk about and take it from there.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so here's my experience with seeing the movie. So, it came out during the opening weekend of Brick Fair, New Jersey. And I mentioned that to Molly, who is Elira, my fiance, and I'm like, hey, do you want to go see the movie? And she's like, yeah, we'll go see the movie together, whatever. And then 2 weeks went past, I went to go visit her for that weekend, and we were debating back and forth on seeing the movie because as time went on and we kept hearing that the movie's not doing that great financially and people are really taking the piss out of it, and it's I don't know if it's going to be worth it. And my conclusion was the people who dislike the movie the most are the people who are fans of Ninjago and are going to constantly compare it to the Ninjago television show. I have no experience with any of it, and frankly, I don't care about it. So I figured I'll go in new as a fresh fan who enjoys the Lego Movie style and just enjoy it overall as a movie. And I went to go see it. First showing on a Sunday. After watching it, I thought it was a perfectly decent kids movie. I think it was the worst Lego movie for more damning reasons than the Lego Batman movie was.
Oh.
I still enjoyed it. I don't regret seeing it. Because I think, another thing was like, well, if I'm going to see a movie like this, I'd rather see it in theaters because visually those movies are always amazing.
Yes.
But coming away from, like, the story and the characters and just, like, the overall tone and the message of the movie, I had a lot of problems. But I want to hear your thoughts on it. I want to know what's brewing in your head. Because I'm not saying I'm only doing this podcast because I want to hear your perspective. I also enjoy being with you, Bean.
Oh,
babe.
Oh. So, two things. One, when you said my fiance, I totally thought you said my Beyonce, and I was like, dude.
Yes, I went with Beyonce. She came with herself and all the single ladies, and we packed the whole goddamn theater. It was amazing. You don't know. And
then I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. And then when you finish the movie, you turn to her and you're like, "Did you like it?" And she's like, "You know what? I should have put a ring on it." That was way better in my head. That was appalling.
I'm gonna stop recording right now. I am leaving.
Anyway, so my thoughts on the podcast on the Ninjago movie. So you did a whole little spiel about how you got into it. So I guess I will. I was super hyped about it. I was like, I'm gonna see the Lego Ninjago movie today. I saw it at like 8 o'clock or something. So I went into the theaters. I had my. See, you Americans are lucky. I went to see Spider-Man: Homecoming in America, and I was like, you know what, I want to have fun. It's such a good movie. And I was like, okay, I want the full American experience. I'm gonna eat whatever the fuck you guys are serving. And I went up and I was like, looking at your menu, and I was like, fucking good. And the lady's like, what do you want, sir? And I'm like, I don't know. You guys have so much food. Because literally, if you want to buy food in a Hoyt's cinema in Australia, you have a choice of popcorn with no butter, like fuck no butter at all.
No butter, really?
It's just popcorn, essentially. And then you can buy like packets of chips or like lollies and stuff like that. And obviously it's expensive, but it's expensive in America as well. But if you want popcorn, you're just getting straight popcorn. There is no options, and it's terrible. It's dry and awful. One thing we do, there's a thing called Maltesers, which is apparently like it's a yellow candy that you guys have. Essentially, what Maltesers are is it's a ball of not nougat, but like I don't know what it is, but it's like a little ball of chocolate essentially. They're really good. The like Australian thing to do is buy a packet of Maltesers and buy popcorn, and then like mix the two together, so you have like chocolate and popcorn. It's very good. That I subscribe to.
There are people like I don't do it often, but when I have popcorn at movies, sometimes I also put snow caps in there. Which if you're not aware, snow caps are a dark chocolate type of, like, they come in like these little like chocolate like chocolate chip little size little things, and they're covered in this white sugary like bead like coating on top, and it meant to just simulate like a little snow cap on top of a piece of chocolate.
Sweet.
But yeah, putting chocolate inside popcorn is a thing. It's not my default. Frankly, I would prefer like getting buttery ass popcorn. I've been in the mood for it a lot lately. I didn't get it when I went to see the movie.
Nice.
But like, here's what you do in America anyway. You go and ask for popcorn, and if you want to be slick about it, you'd be like, can you put a layer? Can you fill the popcorn bag halfway full, put a layer of butter on top of it, fill the other half open, and then do another layer of butter.
Dude, that's
because what happens with the popcorn is that, yeah, if you halfway through the bag you're just sticking with regular ass popcorn, which is still good, I will still eat it, but you wanna make sure that you're dying faster, so you put more butter in the middle of the bag.
Yeah.
And then that's how you do it.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it is. So yeah, like when I did go to America, eventually I was like, okay, guys, you can just get popcorn. And the lady was like, oh dear Lord, no, that is not okay. And I was like, right, it's not. And then she was like, okay, so you can get your pretzels, you can get your Doritos or all, and she like covered everything. And I was like, fuck, wow. I ended up going with like nachos and popcorn, which had like 70 buttered options. And I was like overwhelmed, so I only went with like one type of butter. And in hindsight, I should have gone with like a nacho, whatever the heck it was. You said what?
There were multiple butters.
Dude, apparently that might be a Chicago thing then, I don't know. Because I was talking to my friend and he's like, dude, the cinema down the road, if you go there, like, you can get, there, I don't know, there was all these different options that he was going over. He was talking like, there was essentially like a bar where it was like, you want your cheese? You got your cheese. I was like, whoa. Anyway.
There are also movie theaters that serve just straight up liquor, too.
Oh my god. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Like there are theaters that have been around for the past few years where it's like, instead of there being like, there's either like regular ass movie seats or like these red reclining chairs that AMC, which is a brand of theaters, at least on the West Coast.
Yes.
I don't know about the rest of the
No,
country.
that was where I went to for Homecoming.
Right, they have like these like nice like red reclining seats that you can friggin' lean back in. There's a ton of space. You order the seats ahead of time like you're gonna go on an airplane, and it's fantastic. Or you have these theaters that are literally just like bar stools and friggin' like countertops, and then you can order from a menu and have food delivered to you while you're in the movie theater, and just straight up like, hey, can I get like a glass of wine and like a friggin' like chicken salad, and just be like good to go.
I knew that,
and
like, because we
like.
Oh.
No, you go. I'm sorry, I didn't have.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Because I knew you guys had, like my friend was saying, I knew you guys had like you want a fucking like 3-course meal like with your movie, you can. And we have a similar thing. It's called Gold Class, where like you go and there's like a bar before you see the movie, and you can have like endless popcorn and drinks, and yeah, midway through the movie they deliver you whatever you've ordered beforehand, and it's like a proper meal. But it's like $80. It's fucking expensive.
Jeez, wow, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, the Ninjago movie.
Yes, the Ninjago movie.
I did not get popcorn because fuck that noise. I instead went to the shop because our cinema is like a part of the shopping center that's nearby. So I went to like the grocery store nearby and bought like cookies, donuts, and went and saw the movie. Which in hindsight was a mistake because I was like midway through the movie. I was like, well, I don't want to eat all this. I could eat like maybe two donuts and like 2 cookies and I was done. Anyway, I sat down and then suddenly Jackie Chan and a small child were presented to me and I was like, oh my god, cool. And then the super destroyed the super destroyed Leloid minifigure in front of me, and the wooden Sensei Wu, in which I was like, oh, I want that wooden Sensei Wu. And I love that. It was cool. But overall, sorry, we're not talking about individual details yet. Overall, I thought the moral of the story was absolutely fantastic. I thought it related to Lego in a very unique and brilliant way that none of the other movies... Well, no, sorry. The other movies did achieve, but the morals of those stories was very different to this one, so this achieved it in its own way, similar to how the others did. Mm-hmm. I thought that I agree with you. I know fuck all about Ninjago, other than, like, I did know, like, one ninja's a robot, and the other one's a, that the girl's related to the guy, I've forgotten his name, and, one's called Zayn, and the other's Harry Styles from One Direction. And, yeah. Oh, and there's a big four-armed guy who's the bad guy, Yeah. And the whole time I was watching it, I felt similarly like I was watching a Bionicle movie. Now...
Really?
Yes, because I could see the legacy that this movie was following. I could, I felt as if I was a Ninjago fan sitting there being 4 years old, captivated by Lego for the first time. The same feelings that I had with Bionicle of being like, this is just the coolest thing in the world. So I felt a lot of that, and I love the moral of the story. I think the moral of the story related to me in some fashion. Probably different to how you expected to. which was very nice, and I'm sure that influenced my opinion a lot. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very clever. I thought even though the cat was in the trailer, which I didn't watch, but I saw images of it, so I knew it was coming, I thought that it happened at a good point in the movie, and the twist in the movie that I didn't see coming with the laser pointer kind of debunked the fact that we knew the cat was going to be there, because it came in a way that I wasn't expecting, and as a result it was like, oh, okay, no, cool, like I knew the cat was coming, but not in that fashion, so fair enough. You can introduce that. I'm cool with that. Yeah, and that's my overall opinion. 10 out of 10. Not 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
No.
Okay,
My opinion is Lego Movie is like a solid 10 out of 10. Ninjago is like 8 out of 10. Batman is like 7 or 8 out of 10. And that's the order I go with. Lego Movie is best, Ninjago's second best, Batman's third best. But Batman is a close second.
In terms of ranking.
Say again?
The Batman movie, I think, is a better... I think it's a better written movie. I think it's more enjoyable and fun for kids.
Yeah.
But I still like the Ninjago movie more than the Batman movie, even though I have way stronger feelings about the Ninjago movie. So let's start from the top.
Okay.
Movie opens up, full motion video, live action, Jackie Chan, a young kid who I was disappointed was not the kid from the Lego movie.
Right?
Yeah. Because he walked into the scene, and I remember like leaning over to Molly, and I'm like, is that the same kid? No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
Because he would have been a bit older. But it's like, here's the thing that gets me. So kid walks in, does his little spiel. Jackie Chan comes up and grabs cups, which, by the way, that outtake scene at the end was friggin' funny.
Yes, it was.
And the kid's like, I don't have a problem. I have a problem making friends. I don't know what to do. He beat up my toy. And he's like, well, this little guy seems like a brave hero. We can make him stronger. And Jackie Chan does his friggin' like Chinese magic and turns him into Ninja the Lloyd.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. One, so we're assuming that this is similar to like Lego movie rules, where it's like we're interacting with actual toys to tell this story.
Okay.
But I don't think that's the case in this movie, because he's using Lego in the physical real world, only using 2 actual minifigures, one of which isn't even an actual minifigure. It's just Sensei Wu, wood grain Sensei Wu, which I'm not surprised. I am totally fucking surprised that isn't like a fucking like a chase figure, or like, also sorry for my phone going off, like a chase figure, or like an exclusive minifigure somewhere, because I think that'd be really cool to see a wood grain minifigure.
Right. I want
at least one that's printed in one way.
It'll probably be like the fucking, trans blue gully mask in the new one, not the old one, where it's like, we only released 50 of these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna sell it in the Lego house.
Yeah.
But it's like, one, why does he have that minifigure? Because we're assuming that minifigure predates it. I just keep getting texts, man. I'm just going to silence my phone. I understand how the world works. You don't, Dad. But that's the thing. Speaking of dads, really, that's the confusing part about the movie, where the kid is like, I have trouble making friends and whatever, and like that is a part of the Lego movie.
Yes.
But the main thing about it is, well, also this movie had like 6 different writers within the span of like 3 years.
Wait, really?
So it's like, wow. Yes, they had multiple different writers on this movie, and I feel like there are different movies within this one movie. I feel like one movie is focusing on the ninjas as like kids and learning their powers. I feel like another movie is like actually learning the daddy issues between Lloyd and Garmadon. I feel like another part of the movie is like developing the mother, and I feel like the mother was barely in this movie for how important I think she should have been in the movie.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, the movie more so focuses on the father and son thing. And again, every Lego movie has dealt with a father-son dynamic. Right. And I get it. And it's like, it's totally fine. But I'm gonna get personal here. Get ready.
Cool.
Here it comes. I mentioned this in a podcast I've recorded already with because we talked about this already on the Gearbox, but I have not edited it yet, so I'm lazy. Ooh. I am someone who has never grown up with a father.
Yes.
My father had left me before I was even born.
Yes.
And I have had feelings in my life where I have felt the same way Lloyd has felt in this movie, where it's like why weren't you there and never had anyone to play catch with, whatever. Like, I've had those thoughts growing up as a kid. Yeah. Now I am totally at peace with it. It's fine, not a big deal. Okay. But as someone who can completely empathize with Lloyd in this movie, and I see exactly where he's coming from, it made me hate the movie infinitely more, because it's not like, it doesn't feel as uplifting. It feels kind of shoehorned in at some point, like this movie felt like a checklist of like, okay, here's when we're gonna do this beat of the progression, this beat of the progression, this beat. Oh, now Lloyd likes his father. Oh, now they're doing the catch thing. Oh, he's gonna turn again. Oh, great. And I'm gonna indirectly talk to my father through a cat, and not actually, and pretend we actually talk to each other instead of actually, you know, whatever. I feel like I lost the lead there. But like, as someone who can completely empathize with Lloyd's like ideology and like feelings in this movie, I felt like it was so like, the horse is already dead, stop beating it. Like, I get it. Can you stop? Like, you're actively, like, it was distracting to me watching the movie. Like, I feel like the movie would pause and be like, hey, we're gonna slow down and talk about this daddy-son issue thing. Like, we're just gonna,
right, yeah.
And I feel like that's not a bad thing to talk about. Like, I feel like it's a great topic to have, and I enjoy movies that do the same thing. And I'm sure it's one of the reasons why you brought up you like the movie as well. Like, it's a very, it hits home.
Yes,
but the thing is, I feel like the movie would be way more enjoyable if it focused more on the characters of the ninjas and actually growing to be better fucking, you know, heroes, instead of just focusing on this father-son issue. Because not only was it so heavy-handed, we only got to learn about one fucking ninja, and the others were just side characters. Less than, like they had more screen time than the villains of the Batman movie. But even then, it wasn't not by much.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. No, that's a good point, and I'm really glad you raised that, because like, I did want to ask you that, in terms of, because for example, I have a friend who like you did not grow up with a father, and when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out, I was talking to him about the movie, and he's like, because spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, have you seen it, by the way?
Oh no, I haven't. That's why I don't want you to say it.
Oh, do you not want me to say it?
But I'm assuming it has some. Well, I have a feeling what you're. I know vague things about the movie. If you want to say it, you can say it. It's okay.
Okay. It's not like, I mean, it's fairly obvious if you've watched the trailer. Have you watched the trailer?
I have watched the trailer, so I have a good idea as to what it is.
Obviously, it deals with father issues because Peter finds his dad. That's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to spoil it. And I was talking to my friend about the movie, and we were talking about that, and he's like, as someone who hasn't grown up with a dad, I didn't like how they handled all of that. And he said, he didn't say that, like, all the dad related stuff in the movie was bad, like writing wise. He said the acting wasn't on par, because I won't say specific scenes, and to be honest, I can't remember which scenes, but he was saying that the acting wasn't truthful or believable, because some of the emotions and stuff they had, like him having been in that exact situation, he was like, that's not how I feel. That's not accurate. And so that like took him out of the movie, because it's like, well, no, you're not being truthful. And I think that's really interesting to actually look at it from someone's perspective who hasn't had a dad for their life, because I'm not that kind of person. I've had a fantastic dad my entire life, so I can't empathize in that area. Which is really interesting, because watching it, I felt that it was handled very well and done very effectively. But interesting that the people that it's in a sense made for, that was a different story. So okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, interesting point that you raised about the fact that all the other ninjas were side characters, because I guess they were. I really enjoyed a lot of them. Like, I thought their characters were very, very clever and very funny. Like, I really liked the white ninja, all of his like robotic stuff, like the one scene where everyone was like,
that was funny,
where like something got revealed or whatever, and everyone was like, oh my god, what? And then he's like, gasp. That was fucking hilarious.
That was funny.
Yeah.
But like, he was the only really noteworthy side character of the ninjas, because you have like, you have the fire guy who is just like, look at me, I'm high energy, I like fire, my hair looks like a paintbrush, look at me. Who I forget his name, but whatever.
I forget his
name. And then you
Kai?
have his sister Nia.
Yeah.
I think it's Kai, you're right.
Yeah.
But then you have his sister Nia, who is literally just a discount Wild style. But all she does is just like, look at me, I'm the girl. Oh, I don't follow your gender stereotypes. Oh, like she said that line during her like little fancy intro scene with her mech. She's like, yeah, I'm a girl. Like, what the newscaster was like, she may be a girl, but can she handle being a girl and a ninja? And he's like, I don't follow your gender stereotypes. And I remember leaning over to Molly and just being like, that was gross. I don't like that.
Right.
Don't do that. It's 2017. You don't have to be so obvious about it.
Yeah,
I don't know. But then you have like what, Cole, who is just like, I like DJ music.
Yeah.
I have 10 lines in this movie.
Yeah.
Someone paid me $500 million to speak only 10 lines.
Yeah. This said though, the Blue Ninja, I don't know his name, he was probably my favorite. Just all the like lines of like the fucking line where there's the sign and it's like, go this way for the longer route that you'll learn more, but and it'll still hurt, but it'll be slightly better. Or this route where you'll probably die, and there's probably an army of skeletons, and he's like, probably, like if they would know then if there is one, like why would they put it there? Like that's not a probably, like they know. I thought that was fucking hilarious, and I thought he was very funny, so I liked him. Him and Zane were my favorites.
He was funny too.
Yeah, but you're right, the other ones didn't really get explored much.
And the thing is, like, I'm not comparing it to the actual Ninjago show, because I'm sure like people like that show because they fleshed out. It's going into like its 7th or 8th season or something. Like people,
it's the equivalent of if we got a Bionicle movie, they would not adhere to the canon. It would be like, let's conceptualize this so that kids can relate to it, and that an audience who knows fuck all about Bionicle will understand. And we as Bionicle fans would be like, what the hell? Mutanui is a black guy? I don't know. You know,
that's probably the reason why the Bionicle movies didn't do that so well, because they stuck to canon.
Yeah.
And mass appeal was just not there.
Yes.
But it's like oh, I don't know. Like, I'm not comparing it to the show because I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
But like, people who love the show are just like, hey, I don't mind this being a new canon. Like, whatever, it's cool. But like, these characters aren't that fleshed out. In fact, their base character ideas are better than what's in the Ninjago show, except it's not fleshed out at all.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I can't say much on it because I don't watch the show.
Yeah,
nor do I care to watch the show.
I'm the same. Because I liked the little bit. I mean, I assume this is a reference, but I liked the little bits where it was like, "How do you have 4 arms, dude?" And he's like, "Oh, I was bitten by a spider." And it's like, "Whoa, you were bitten by a spider? Then shouldn't you have like 6?" I don't know what they said, but like the bit where he like explained why he had 4 arms and stuff. Like, I assume that's canon in the Ninjago lore. So that was kind of cool. I was like, "Oh, okay."
I assume too.
What?
Because I was wondering if that was a reference or not.
Yes,
I had no idea.
Someone tell us. Because I deliberately followed a bunch of people on Instagram, and I mean, I already followed a bunch of them, but they're all obvious Ninjago fans, as in like hardcore ones. And I remember seeing someone like post on their story like, "I'm gonna see the Ninjago movie tonight, and I'm so excited. I'm probably never gonna stop talking about this. Whoa!" And I was like, "Ah, cool." Like, I was excited to see like fan response. And honestly, I've seen very little, and maybe I'm just not following the right accounts. But there was one guy who like he was going ham bone with his Instagram story of like, Ninjago movie, I'm so excited, this is gonna be great. And then he saw it and he's like, okay, these are my thoughts. And I was like, oh cool, I'm ready. And it was just like, it was good. There were some cheesy parts. There were not so cheesy parts. Overall, it was okay. It was an 8 out of 10. But it wasn't the best, but it was really good. And I was like, oh, that's your response? Like, you're a hardcore Ninjago fan. I thought you would enjoy it more. But yeah, it seems like all of their responses are, it was good, but it wasn't, you know, the lore that we know and love. It was its own take, and things were changed, and blah blah blue, and you know, yeah.
And the thing is, I feel like I'm doing terrible at segueing, but it's also like, I can speak up and down about like plots and just like certain things in the story just being confusing or like rushed or like whatever, and we'll get to that to some degree later on. But there's one major thing I want to talk about this movie that bugged me in the Batman movie and extremely annoys me in this movie.
Okay.
And I tried going into this movie not comparing it to the Batman or the Lego movie, but you inherently are going to do that. If you're not going to compare it to the Ninjago show, you're going to compare it to the other Lego branded movies. And here's the thing. The Lego movie, copyright, TM, is a great movie with an astounding message that I think is an almost timeless movie of creativity, and like that has a really actually well done father-son mechanic, or not mechanic, it's not a video game, father-son moral that is way more subtle about it, and I think it's really nice. The Batman movie is more so enjoyable because it's a movie more so about Batman, and the Lego aspect of it is kind of second note. It's not really like part of it. The Ninjago movie did the same exact thing, but unlike the Batman movie, which I feel like was going out of its way to like just be about Batman and not sell toys, this movie was going out of its way to not treat it as a Lego movie in terms of like actually dealing like the Lego theme was more so revolved around animation as opposed to it actually being about the toy line and like dealing with the bricks and such. It was that and also a massive toy commercial. And I think the number one example I can point to is the fact that the opening part of the movie is them going through all the mechs just being like Kai's fire mech gets hotter than anything you could ever believe. It's like this feels like character intros of like an anime or like a Transformers episode where it's like, here's what Ironhide's gonna do this episode. He's a really cool toy, right?
Yeah.
Like, and usually that never bothers me in shows ever. But it's like it was super distracting because I'm like, wow, they're really selling these mechs, really cool, huh? Too bad they're only in the movie for like 20 minutes,
right? And
then they're just gone.
Yeah. See, it's interesting you say that. That didn't bother me. And like I always try to argue with people I talk to about how they're like, Lego movies are just a big ad for buying Lego, and I'm like, no, they're not.
They're not.
But like I can definitely argue that with the Lego movie and somewhat for the Batman movie, but I'll admit it's a bit harder to argue with this one. And from what you said, I don't disagree with you. It definitely did seem like a commercial now that I look at it in hindsight. But personally, and I guess this is just because I was like, how did they build that? How was this built? Whoa. When all that stuff came on, I was quite enthralled because like I wanted to see like all the angles and things that the ninjas mechs did. Just because I wanted to see like how it was built and stuff, which I'm sure you did as well.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
Like, but I don't know.
Of course, I want.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess that didn't bother me. But that is an interesting point.
It's just like all three of those movies are to some extent toy commercials.
Yes.
But it's not what you say, it's how you say it in that regard.
Yes.
So like this movie was way more blatant about it being a toy commercial, and it was not afraid to really just say, hey, look at how cool these mechs are. Here's what they look like all together. You want to have that too on your shelf, right? Yeah. And yes, I do. But it's also just like, wow, you're not even trying to hide this anymore, are you?
No, yeah.
But it also comes down to spoilers for the Batman movie, which is a small spoiler, but it's like it's nothing. It's like the only thing that made that movie Lego related in terms of like, hey, we're gonna take our headpieces off and then attach each other by the studs and then form a bridge, like, and they made that joke in the Ninjago movie too. But it's also like that was the only thing that directly relates it to Lego. That and the whole like inner piece thing, which is like you need to find your inner piece, and they're being literal about it. Like, oh, okay, I guess you made that joke because you thought it's Lego, so you can make that joke.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, it's
like,
well, no, they also said like, no.
Yeah, like I felt that. Again, I'm noticing a lot of things in hindsight. It'd be good to watch it again. The moment when it was about Lego and it was like they're trying to get out of the volcano crazy boss, deputy, lieutenant, whatever they're called, psycho area, and all the ninjas are like, okay, let's take apart all these pieces and build something so we can get out of here. I did kind of have
nice.
It was cool. I really did enjoy that scene. But I did kind of have a small moment of like, oh yeah, they're in the universe where it's made of Lego. They can take stuff apart and make stuff. Fair enough. Yeah, which I thought was interesting because like I kind of forgot that up until that point. And I guess that's the one area where stuff was Lego. I guess you could argue the like ultimate weapon was Lego because like technically, but I guess the most Lego related example is that, or the live action bit, to an extent.
But it's also like I feel like the live action bit and the live action bit, the inclusion of real world objects in the Lego universe and referring to Lego pieces as Lego pieces was kind of like just like attached to the movie and wasn't integral to the actual plot like the Lego Movie, because the Lego Movie consistently will refer to pieces by piece name and refer to real world objects and use them like erasing bad cops friggin' happy face, or like having like the Craggle and the Batman movie had none of that, which actually to this day still surprises me.
Yeah. That's actually.
But it seems like they looked at the Lego Movie, like these writers who are different writers than the Lego Movie or the Batman movie, went to this movie and wanted to make another Lego Movie. So they took the best parts of the Lego Movie and tried to incorporate it into this movie, on top of having a heavy-handed father-son story, and also trying to incorporate a movie about teamwork and friends and ninjas.
Right. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that every review is pointing out. Like, this movie had a ton of writers, and I feel like everyone was trying to get their own little thing in, and they're just trying to fill all the gaps with things that might work. And for the most part, it does. But if you're looking at it from like if you're a kid watching this movie, it's bright, it's colorful, you'll love it. Like, for my job currently, I work with kids, and I hear kids talk about this movie, and they enjoy it.
Cool.
It's a bright, colorful, action, cool, funny movie that kids can totally enjoy, and I think it does that right.
Yeah.
But it's a terrible Lego movie, because it tries to be another Lego Movie in terms of the theming and the plot conveniences that they use in the other movies, but it's so slapdash. And again, like, the crux of the movie is that a kid walks into Jackie Chan's shop and is like, I have trouble making friends, and he goes, let me tell you this story about how I'm not great with my father. Because I'm assuming Jackie Chan is telling this story to the kid, and the kid is just standing there confused, like, well, how did this turn into a father-son story? No, this is about the friends and your friends and ninjas and like earning their trust. And it's like, no, you're actually telling me a story about a dad. Like, what?
That's
okay,
kinda, yeah.
sure.
That's actually really true.
What's the moral of the movie?
Yeah.
What's the moral of the movie? Be good to your dad, and then you'll have friends. What? I don't.
Yeah, right.
Like part of me really thinks that live action stuff was added at the end of the movie, right before the end of production. They just filmed all that shit.
Yeah, interesting.
And just slapped it onto the beginning and end of the movie.
Because that'd be really funny if there was like an alternate ending where it's like, and that is the story of Ninjago, and he's like, I don't see how that helped me at all. Like, I'm trying to make friends. I don't have any problems with my dad. Actually, I'm good. But yeah, interesting
unless
point.
You want to say the movie, unless you want to say the movie is trying to be like, my dad is my best friend, which could be true.
That's a good point.
But it's also just like, the movie focuses on him having all these best friend ninjas. Also, can I just say, like, introducing the ninjas and their rapport and everything, I feels like we got the sequel to a movie that never came out. Because I feel like we should be introducing the ninjas more. Like, I feel like this movie would have been more beneficial and more interesting if it came into Lloyd just starting his ninja training and meeting all these characters for the first time. And then you can kind of get away with them not having as much character development because they're brand new to Lloyd, so he's starting to learn them slowly and slowly.
Interesting.
When instead this movie feels like they've already been friends for a long time, and we should know them well enough, so they're using that as an excuse to not explain who the characters are all that much, when I feel like, hey, realistically we're seeing these characters for the first time, so you probably should give us a little bit more of a background. Not saying they need an in-depth character backstory like Lloyd does.
Yeah.
But maybe just more character interaction in the vein of like maybe the Avengers, where the characters are constantly like engaging in conversation that either can be witty or beneficial to the story.
Yes, no, that's not a bad point. But I guess like I'll be honest, I don't mind origin stories to an extent. But like I feel like society as a whole is kind of getting sick of origin stories, but I don't know if that's just more in terms of superheroes rather than everything. So I guess it was kind of nuts, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, the Spider-Man Homecoming was a way better movie because it didn't have an origin story. So, in that defense, you're right.
Definitely, yes.
I don't know. Yeah, for sure. And it's like I don't think the movie needed an origin story, but I just feel like this movie just lacked a lot of context, and we're just expected to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Which would make sense that this movie was a continuation of the actual Ninjago show, but it isn't. It's a new continuity.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we like? Maybe you'll have a bit more context on knowing who the characters are if you've seen the show already. But I feel like an interpretation shouldn't be taken as a continuation. Like, it should start fresh to some degree, and you should get a bit more background. Like, okay, we know Zayn is a robot. Cole's a dude who doesn't give a shit and plays music. Kai and Nia are sisters, and they're fire and water because of course they are. And whatever, like that's the and Jay, who I feel like, as funny as Jay is in the movie, he's barely in the movie. He just shoots lightning every now and again, and that's all he does.
So like, I had someone come up to me the other day, and they're like, so because they know I like Lego, like everyone does. And like, he came up and he's like, so the Lego Ninjago movie, should I see it? And I'm like, yes, you should. It was very good, very enjoyable. You'll really like it. And he's like, but I don't know anything about Ninjago. And I was like, well, you don't need to know anything about Ninjago. I know nothing about Ninjago, and I'm a Lego fan, so you can see it. He's like, oh, okay. And I found that really interesting, because someone who knows nothing about Lego, well, like, he was I contacted my friends and I'm like, look, I need help sorting. I have a lot of fucking pieces. Help me sort. We can chill for the day. Help me sort. We still haven't done it, but we will. And when I sent the message out, the guy was like, only if I can play with your Lego. And I'm like, yes, of course. So, like, I think he, like, plays with his Lego occasionally, but he's by no means an AFOL. And I just found it really interesting that he was like, yo, I really want to see the movie. Because I remember when the Batman movie came out, he was like, oh, I'm fucking hyped. This is going to be great. I can't wait. And then he talked to me about it afterwards. It was awesome. But yeah, this one he was hesitant to see because he's like, well, I don't know Ninjago. Like, am I going to understand the movie? Like, am I going to get it? And I found that really interesting. That's kind of all I have to say on that. But
I mean, like, there are people who want to go see those movies because the Lego movies in the past have proven to be really good, high-quality movies. Like, back in the day, well, I shouldn't say that. It's still fairly recent. Like, you didn't have to defend the Lego movies for being good movies because it was kind of like universally accepted that they were great movies. And for the Lego movie and the Batman movie, because that was still a pretty damn good movie in the eyes of the people, you didn't have to defend it.
No.
Like, people just accepted it. It's like when Pokemon Go came out.
Yeah.
Where it's like everyone's on their phone and everyone's, being idiots running around friggin' like everywhere. And it was universally accepted, even though it was a really silly thing. And so no one judged each other. So like the same thing with the Lego movies. You didn't have to defend it. But this movie, I don't know. It's it's weird. I don't know. Because it still comes off as a Lego movie, and most people probably don't give a shit about it the same way I do. And I think I only care about it this much because, one, I'm in this fandom, such as you. Like, we're both in this community where we engage in this type of crap.
Yes.
But it's also like, the Lego movie meant a lot to me. In terms of, like, it was revolutionary for its time, it was funny, it was entertaining, it had an astounding message, and frankly, the live-action bits of the movie were a total surprise, and it's one of the things that made it the most memorable.
Yes.
Because it had, like, the theme of, like creativity, and, like, there are boundaries between using instructions and being creative, and sometimes using both in conjunction, or, like, having your own judgments really good. And also adding in the father-son dynamic that I felt like was so subtly and well done. And I'm going to consistently keep comparing every subsequent movie to this movie, even though they may have a completely different thing. And I know to some extent that's what's wrong with me. And it's part of the reason why I didn't enjoy the Batman movie, because it wasn't that. Also, I'm totally sorry. I feel like I keep talking and you're not really getting much of a chance to say anything.
No, you're good, girl. Two things I wanted to raise.
Girl,
one, girl, I normally don't like that kind of content. But let me explain what it is first. The stuff where it was like the ultimate weapon, and then they had the fucking live action,
oh my
YouTube
God.
effects and like hilarious. I normally hate that kind of shit. I didn't find it funny, but I thought that was bloody brilliant.
I absolutely hated it so much.
Wow,
I took it as like, this is some like Teen Titans Go, current Cartoon Network, YouTube poop bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid they used it twice and doubled the footage. And I'm like, come on, this is so stupid, guys. Don't use this.
Yeah, right. Interesting indeed.
But I will say that the Mech Dragon bit where it's like, the head is even a missile on that thing was pretty funny.
That was hilarious. I liked that. I'm not gonna lie, that one being used twice, I was a little like, yeah, okay, I know there's missiles everywhere. You don't have to tell me twice. But I thought that was hilarious. That was good. Yeah. My next question, and I think this will be how we'll round it off with the Ninjago topic, because we've been going almost an hour with it. No, we haven't. 40 minutes.
Oh dear, we have. Oh dear.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's all right though. Do you think that we will ever get the Lego Movie 2? Not the actual Lego Movie 2, but are we going to get another Lego Movie that is exactly what the first Lego movie encompassed. They're very well written, very well executed. Here's a nice surprise with live action. Here's a very good father-son dynamic. And here's an overly very creative and ingenious not toy commercial. Do you think we will get that again? Because so far we've got two movies which, I mean, from the discussions that we've had about Batman and Ninjago, as good as they were not the Lego movie. Do you think we will get that again? Is it that what made the Lego movie the fact that it was such a surprise? Like, is that surprise now ruined and we cannot get it again?
I feel like that's totally a part of it, but I feel like even the actual Lego Movie 2 that's going to be coming up in 2019, which, by the way, side note, I know the late Ninjago movie was already delayed, but we still couldn't you released it in early 2018 instead of having two Lego movies in the same year? I feel like part of it is also just fatigue. Like, you don't need to have two Lego movies in the same year. Why not space it out and put it out in like January or February when it's a dead season and there'll be less competition for that movie to grow?
Yeah, why?
But, well, whatever. Back to your actual question.
Yes.
I would say the actual Lego Movie 2 would be the answer, except there's a lot of things about that movie that gets me really concerned. Yeah. First off, most of it's a musical.
Yes, that's such a surprise. Go on.
Which I'm not against. Like, I like musicals.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love The Nightmare Before Christmas, and that movie is mostly a musical. It has the same writers, Chris Lore and Phil Miller. Yep. I think I got the last names mixed. I don't know. So that's a good thing. But the main theme of it is boys versus girls. Because, again, spoilers for the Lego movie. It picks up where it left off with the Duplo stuff. And it's a relationship between the sister and the brother. This younger sister who plays Duplo, and then the older brother who plays with the regular, like, Emmett and, like, Unikitty and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's going to have that type of dynamic. And I feel like because we're with the same writers, like, I feel like we're in good hands, but at the same time, it's like, with those two factors of, like, a musical and the theme of what the movie's going to be about, I totally don't know where it's going to go. And I hope they experiment with the live action stuff more in terms of, like, make it like a Toy Story thing where it's like you're actively having interactions and things change in the real world and that's affecting what's going on in the Lego world. I think that would be really cool.
That would be cool.
But despite the fact I've been disappointed twice with the past two Lego movies, I'm still going to say that, like, if the Lego Movie 2 does not scratch that itch that I am just dying for, then I kind of give up.
Really?
Because, I don't know. Like, I still would see the movies, but, like, I'm not going to be jazzed for them. I'm not going to be excited.
Okay. I thought you meant I wasn't going to watch them anymore. But, okay. No, I see what you mean.
Well, it depends on how bad the movie is. I mean, granted, I'm the sadistic guy who goes out and sees all the Transformers movies because I've seen all of them in theaters, so I may as well keep going to see them.
Yes.
So,
see, I think with Transformer movies, because I'm the same. I've seen them all in theaters, regrettably, but I have. And, like, it's just this point now of, like, maybe this one will be the good one. Maybe. You know? Nope.
There are good parts of it, and then you go... And here, every time... You know what happens to me? I watch the movie, I enjoy it while I'm watching it, and then as I'm driving home from the theater, I think about what actually happened and go... Why didn't... okay. Maybe that isn't a great movie.
Yeah.
Which is why I always go and see them in theaters, because I'm like, if I'm going to watch this movie once, I may as well see it the best way I can.
Oh, yeah. I saw the worst one, the most recent one. Do you think the most recent one was the worst one?
I don't think it was the worst one. I think the third movie is still the worst one.
Which was that? Which was that again?
That was Dark of the Moon with Sentinel Prime and Shockwave that was in it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because literally... Side note, I think that movie was garbage because it was like the robots weren't characters, they were just set pieces, and like they were so willing to just throw them out of the way and have them disintegrate at a moment's notice, and it just didn't seem like they were characters anymore, and that's the part that really killed it for me, because I watched those movies for the robots and not the humans for sure.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, yeah.
That was my side note. I'm sorry. We're still talking about Lego. This is a Lego show.
This is a podcast about Lego. Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with you. Yeah, I overall with the Ninjago movie. With my question before, I do agree with you. I think that some aspects of the Lego movie seem sort of scary. Lego Movie 2, seems sort of scary. But That being said, if you told me that the Lego Movie, before it came out, was going to be a movie about showing that creativity works if you don't follow the instructions, and it has some father-son issues, I probably would have been like, oh, alright, whatever. But it's only when I then watch it that I go, oh shit, that was good. That's a great moral, thank you, you know? Like, in concept, I can see that that might sound like kind of lame. That it's like, you don't have to follow the instructions. It's like, oh, well, whatever. But, so I'm kind of holding out for that. And also, it feels a bit like Infinity War, how it's going to be like, look, you can't mess this up. We've waited 10 years for this shit. If Infinity War is terrible, you will piss off the world. That'll be how the Third World War will start.
But that's also like that movie has been it's been what's the word I'm thinking of? Like it's been set in stone. Like we're waiting for the fated day in which Infinity War comes out, and we're just gonna like keep building up all this goddamn. Like it's gonna be the best movie ever. It's gonna be like Avengers, but better this time.
Yeah.
And it's actually never gonna be that.
No, don't say that. Don't you dare say that.
I mean, I want it to be good.
It will be.
I don't know. Like, I want to have Groot and friggin' like Iron Man in the same scene and just have them riff and make a joke and just like that's it, sure. But I don't know. It's.
But
I also don't think Thanos is going to be that great of a villain. I don't.
What, really? You don't think so?
What is the man outside of him just having the friggin' jewels? He just wants to get laid. He's impressing a woman. That's all he's doing. He's not. I don't know what.
No, I do want to have this conversation, but like,
well, oh god, dude, it's just like, I don't. Maybe it's because I don't read comics. I don't. I think it is because I don't read comics. But basing it off the movies alone.
Yeah.
Thanos has been zero threat. At the end of the Avengers movie, the first one, like what, 5 years ago at this point?
8 or 9.
Dude is like, well, I guess. Well, really? Was it 09?
Infinity will be the 10th anniversary of the MCU.
Good God! Well, when did Avengers come out?
2012.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right.
End of that movie. Oh, what's 2011? Okay.
No. Oh,
but
maybe,
it's like,
I don't know.
God damn it. Anyway, at the end of the Avengers, like, friggin' Thanos is like, the Chitauri did a shitty job of trying to take over the world. Hey, guess what? I guess I better do it myself. And then he hasn't done anything. Yeah. He had little bits here and there. He was in Guardians 1. I haven't seen Guardians 2. I don't know if he's in that. I'm assuming to some degree he is. But it's like, he hasn't done anything at all. And like, are we going to just see him kick everyone's ass in Infinity War and him just trying to impress death and that's it? I mean, what? Yeah, I just wonder what the payoff is going to be.
Look, I won't disagree with you that it has been, like, there's this one photo I've seen where it's like, you know, Thanos being like, fine, I'll do it myself, and then it's him, like, tying his shoes and putting his coat on, and then it's like, each individual one is like, he's doing that in this movie, and then, like, Infinity War, oh no, like, the second Avengers movie comes, he's like, oh, come on, man, that was supposed to be me, no, let me tie my other shoe, like, come on now, you know, and then it's like, I won't disagree that there has been a lot, like, okay, well, I won't go through every bit that Thanos is in case of spoilers, but like, all the different cameos that he's had in the movie, technically he's not done much, except in my opinion in Guardians, the first Guardians, when he is like, you know, don't question me, boy, or I will bathe the starways in your blood. Like, sure, he did fuck all, he just sat on a chair and spoke to Ronan, but he sounded like a badass, and that was cool for me, at least. Look, I guess I know Thanos fairly well from the comics, because I read the comics a lot, and he's a fucking badass without the Infinity Gauntlet. And so I'm ready for that. But I think what's actually hyped me most for Thanos is the little bits of teasers that I've heard from the Infinity War trailer. Which I have not watched, even though it's been leaked, because fucking I'm gonna wait until Marvel releases that shit. No. And the prospect that the Russo brothers have teased, which has been, they are trying to make Thanos the new Darth Vader. They don't want him to be, like, when he comes in Infinity War, it's apparently supposed to be like, he doesn't take any prisoners, he will just kill people because he means business. Like, he's not here to fuck around. So I'm looking forward to that. Because personally, what I think Infinity War will be is Thanos and the Black Order will arrive on Earth. The Guardians will already be there for whatever reason, which will be explained. And Thanos will just be like, you guys have Infinity Stones. I need them. Hey, Thor, crushes his head. Hi, Scarlet Witch, let me punch you in the gut. You're, like, in a coma now. Like, killing, like, 2 or 3 Avengers, and then it being like, so give me my Infinity Stones, and then Iron Man will just be like, oh, shit. I don't know what to do. Like, that to me is how I see the opening, well, not the opening sequence, but one of the first sequences of Infinity War is just him, like, fucking shit up, and the Avengers are just useless against him.
Yeah,
And that'll be before he has the Infinity
Thanos
Gauntlet.
is a great villain.
Honestly, I will be shocked if he isn't.
Yeah.
I read an article, and look, articles at this point mean nothing. It could literally just be some guy who's like, our website doesn't have enough traffic. Let's bullshit an article about Infinity War. That'll give us traffic. But like the one article I did read is it was like, as much as like Iron Man or Doctor Strange or whatever will be like spearheading the Infinity War as main characters, Thanos is the main character of this movie.
Mm-hmm. That is something I definitely want. I want Thanos. I want the entire movie to be from Thanos' freaking perspective and have all the MCU heroes be secondary to the entire plot.
Yes, I would like that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't want the movie to be overhyped and then people see it and you're just like, that's it? Even though it's still probably going to be a good movie. I feel like just, I don't know.
I definitely will admit,
saying.
like, maybe once or twice I've fallen victim to being overhyped for a movie. But, like, for example, Star Wars Episode 7, I was so hyped. And seeing it totally lived up to every expectation I wanted. It was fantastic. And that's what I'm hoping for Infinity War, but I definitely can see that I may fall victim to overhypeness with this, because we've been hyped for 10 years, Well, coming up to 10 years.
I also, tangentially related, because you just mentioned Star Wars.
Hi.
So Episode 8 is going to be coming out soon.
Oh, yeah.
Next 2 months or so.
Hi.
And I'm thinking, have you seen people actually excited for the movie, for the actual movie, or have you just seen people be excited about the Porgs? Because all I've been seeing are a diehard Star Wars fan be excited about Porgs, and that's it.
Huh. I have seen only the other way around, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen stuff about Porgs, but, like, it's mainly just been from, like, people who are like, oh, Porgs are so cute, and that's kind of it. It's never been like, I don't give a fuck about the movie, but check out this penguin,
This penguin dog looking thing.
Yeah. I'll admit I did like that part in the trailer where it was like, and then that's cute. But
That was cute.
yeah, no, I'm more excited. I know more people who are more excited for the movie personally, and I'm more excited for the movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you think it's gonna be Empire?
Yes, but well, I don't know. When I first saw images and the Lego sets, how it's like, hey, guys, here's a Super Star Destroyer. Hey, guys, here's a nice planet with AT-ATs. And it's like, come on, don't be Episode 5 again. But then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, look, this plot looks nothing like Episode 5. Maybe there'll be some visual things that are fairly similar. That being said, I thought that the AT-ATs were on an ice planet, and I was like, for fuck's sake. But in the first trailer where there's all those like speeder things like flying through a planet and all that like red dust is coming out?
Yeah.
It's that planet, so it's not an ice planet. It's a salt planet,
okay,
apparently.
Right. Salt planet?
Yeah. Which sounds weird, but it also sounds cool. So look, I don't want it to be Episode 5. I hope the fuck it's not. But after seeing the new trailer, I don't think it will be. Just plot-wise.
Do you think any of the old cast are going to die in this movie?
That's a good question. I don't think so. Maybe Finn of anyone, but I doubt it. I don't think they would end his arc that quickly. I don't think so. I don't even think a hand will be chopped off. Maybe.
People are speculating based on the poster that just came out. It looks like Rey's hand may get chopped off, and I'm like, come on.
That will not
this,
be...
guys.
Like, I don't remember what my reaction was because I was a kid. I would have enjoyed it regardless. But when it happened in, like, the prequels, I imagine people weren't too, like, upset about that. Well, people were probably more upset that the prequels weren't that great. But, like, I wouldn't be surprised if people weren't too upset with that. But I feel like, for example, if my reaction is, I don't know, Snork or Kylo cuts off Rey's hand, it will not be, it will be, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, that will not be a highlight of the movie for me, I'll be honest. Yeah. It'll also just be like, wow, you kept the fan service going of every series having a hand being chopped off.
Also, kind of surprised we've seen little to no of anything of Mark Hamill whatsoever.
I'm not necessarily... Well, what do you mean?
Like, maybe I missed something in the trailer, I don't know, but I feel like we haven't seen any Luke Skywalker related to this movie whatsoever. Like, he's not on the poster, is he? I don't think he is.
Is he? I need to Google this shit.
I remember staring at it for a good maybe half a minute, and I was looking for his face because I figured he's going to be a prominent role, and it's going to like the movie's going to pick up exactly where it left off in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And I don't remember seeing him.
Well, he's in the original poster where it's just Rey holding up the lightsaber, and it's Kylo and Rey and Luke. No, he is. He's the top of it. Actually, I really feel bad that I didn't remember him being in it. He's like half the poster.
Then oh god, I feel. Cut that out. That's bad. I should know that. He's at the top of the poster, and I'm looking at the bottom, and I don't notice the asshole, and they're taking up half the poster. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're right. No, dude, I didn't even think he was in it either.
Dude, I don't even know. I hope the movie is good. I'm probably gonna go see it. I don't know. Because I enjoyed Force Awakens for what it was. Oh, yeah. I enjoyed Rogue One, but I probably wouldn't see it again.
Oh.
Oh, you don't like it?
No, I fucking loved Rogue One.
Oh, because you made a noise like, ugh, and I'm like, wait, do you not like it?
No, I think the was actually you wouldn't see it again? Unless I somehow made a noise.
I don't know. The best parts of that movie are K2SO, and just the ending scene with Darth Vader, I feel like, is just phenomenal.
I remember sitting there, and for whatever, I think it was just like I was in, like, for example, my whole life I've always been in, like, I'm in a Bionicle mood now, or I'm in a system mood now, or I'm in a Star Wars mood now, and, like, not that other stuff takes a back wheel, but, like, other stuff takes a back wheel, and I think I was just more into something else at the time when Rogue One came out, so I kind of wasn't, I think I kind of missed the hype train for Rogue One, like, I was going to see it, I was excited, but, like, I wasn't, like, losing it like I was for Episode 7, and so going in, I was watching it, and I was enjoying it, but, like, I wasn't there, like, the normal Star Wars fanboy that I am with a Star Wars movie of being like, yeah, this is so cool. But I think it was just I had other stuff in my mind or something. And I remember sitting there, like, my hand was on my chin, and I was just, like, I just had a very neutral face. It wasn't that I wasn't enjoying the movie. I was just like, yeah, cool. And then the Darth Vader scene began, and I just remember my mouth, like, slowly widening, and my hand dropping, and being like, oh my god, and, like, losing it, because that's the best damn scene ever.
Because you don't realize that was going to happen at first. You're like, what's going on here? And it's like, wait, those are rebel helmets. Like, oh no, are they doing? Oh, they're doing it. Yeah. And then it fucking happens, and he just starts killing people, and then you just see like young Carrie Fisher again as Leia with the CG stuff they did to her face, and it's like, oh god, this looks so good. This looks so good.
Yeah. And like some people were like, oh, I could tell they were leading into the end of Episode 4, but I didn't even see that coming. And then the minute that, like, Carrie Fisher appeared, or, like, the Darth Vader scene happened, I'm like, they're gonna lead into Episode 4. Are they seriously? And then the movie ended, and you're like, oh, they did. So cool.
But the best part about that movie to me is not even related to the movie inherently.
Yeah?
I think I told you this. Is when I went to go see that movie with Molly, and she has never watched anything Star Wars and has never cared to. But she decided to go see the movie with me. And she's like, what the hell? They keep talking about the plans for the Death Star, and how come we never get to see it? And I'm like, oh wait, that's right. You never saw the very first Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Well, what happens in that movie? The Death Star is in that movie, and it gets blown up. Like the end of Rogue One leads right into the very first Star Wars movie from the 70s. She goes, oh, well, they should have showed the Death Star, like they do. If you saw the original movie. And more likely than not, if you see this movie, you probably have already seen the older Star Wars movies, if not know about the Death Star already. Because it's just one of those things. Well, how am I supposed to know about it? And it's like, well, it's one of those culturally, like, shoved in your face, like, everyone knows that Darth Vader is Luke's father kind of thing, because that's, like, it's iconic. Like, it's, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
I just found that very amusing. Just that she said that to me, and I just looked at her with a blank face, like, I can't tell if you're being serious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No,
But it's still
that's
a great movie.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie.
It's on Netflix right now, and I've been debating on watching it again, but I'm like, I don't know.
I like feel bad because I've watched every Star Wars movie like 80 times. But The Last Jedi, I'm sorry, the Force Awakens, I've only seen 3 times, and I'm like, look, I need to catch up. Like, I'm behind.
You will probably watch that movie again before you see Last Jedi.
Oh yeah, I probably will. I would even consider
Oh.
going to like if they do it, one of the ones where it's like, here's a screening of episode 7 again, and then right after that we'll go into the episode 8.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be so.
That'd be so great.
I'd watch that. Because I like, for example, I remember a lot of people being like, Captain Phasma, what a stupid, pointless character, and it's like, no, actually, she will have more in the next movies. And then the new trailers came out. I'm like, I told you. Like, people, I think, forget that this is a trilogy. Like, things will be explored more because this should be technically viewed as a 3-parter, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way of like, I don't know, I can't remember, but there would have been things in episode 4 or 5 of Star Wars that you would like, if you looked at that movie as just that movie, you would have been like, well, that wasn't explored at all. That was stupid. And no one says that the original trilogy was stupid because, it's the original trilogy.
Or you look at like Anakin in episode 1. He's like, oh, he's just a kid. We just adopted this kid, and he got in a fighter and just killed some people, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's all he does. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's like, no, actually, this guy actually becomes friggin' Darth Vader.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
settle down.
Yeah, settle down. Yeah, exactly.
So we're about an hour in.
Yes.
And as much as I love talking about movies with you,
yes.
I feel like we should get into some of those questions that you mentioned earlier.
Yes, exactly. We should. So these are the questions. Now, it's funny because there's one question I have here which totally relates to what we were just talking about. But I'll come back to that. But it's good because I feel like we ended that topic a little earlier than I wanted to. But that's probably just because I'm a fanboy. But anyway.
Oh no, we can still talk about it again. I'm treating this like it's my show again.
Oh yeah.
But it's
dude,
I don't know, dude.
It's we can share it. It's both our shows. To be honest, I have 4 questions here, and I figured I would pick 3, but I haven't already picked which ones, so forgive me. Okay, this first question here is by a Mr. Pumpkin Fire the Knight, and the question is, what was the first LEGO theme you collected?
Collected?
Yes. So by that I assume, I don't imagine it's like, what was the first set you bought, because then that theme is the set you could, I assume, for example, I went out and bought all of this theme because I loved this theme.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's what it means.
You would think the answer would be Bionicle, but it wasn't until the Mech Shrew when I actually started to care about collecting full sets.
Oh wow, really?
When the Total Mech Shrew came out, yeah, I just bought them a lot of them piecemeal. I never, growing up, I never had a complete set of Mata or Nuva or Bolrock. I always was missing 1 or 2 of them.
Wow.
I never actively wanted to collect all of them. No, weirdly enough, the first Lego anything I ever wanted to fully collect were the mini kit Star Wars sets.
Yeah, those were excellent.
Very excellent, and that was I loved for those who don't know. There used to be these mini kit little Star Wars sets that had these 2 small builds of here are 2 pod racers, or here's an A-wing and whatever the fuck, or here's an ATST and whatever. It was 2 little Star Wars vehicles and one thing for $4 or $5 USD.
Yeah.
And if you don't recognize, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. If you don't recognize them from that, you may recognize them from the very first Lego Star Wars game, because you used to be able to build those if you collected all the mini kits in every level. Yeah. I was so upset that half of those were never sets. One of my first things I ever did when I was on the internet was go to LugNet and find instructions for those things, because I didn't know you could ever do that at the time. This is 2005.
Wow, yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. And I said you can buy them right here, and I would hit buy now, and it would be a dead link, and I'm like, what? You can't buy these? And so I tried making them again on my own with my old pieces, and it was a magical time.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Yeah, because some of those little mini builds were phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
The sets and the ones in the game, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're all the same scale. They're all because there were a lot of the mini builds that were in that were actual sets were in that game as well.
Yes,
So.
yeah. No, I don't think I collected all of them, but just because it was like, well, I want this one and this one and this one. But it was like I may as well have collected like 90% of them. But those were phenomenal. Those were awesome. Gosh, in terms of the first theme that I collected, I don't know what the first one was, but I remember collecting all of the like original wave of agent sets.
Hell yeah! Wait, which agents? Like the underwater theme or the?
No, not the alpha team. The agents, like they were the dark blue ones with the orange bad guys.
Oh, those ones.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good ones. I mean, Alpha Team. Don't knock Alpha Team. That stuff was amazing. Actually, my brother collected all of Alpha Team, all of the first wave. He collected some of the underwater ones. We wanted to get more, but like, just we didn't. And the ice ones of Alpha Team, I swear to God, they just didn't come to Australia. Like, it sucked because we wanted them. Yeah,
those were so cool.
They were
brilliant. Like, they were all had like a transforming gimmick, and like the colors are really good. Like, oh,
they
God.
were so good. Yeah, I think maybe one time I came to a shop and they were there, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, where the hell have these been?" And then they were gone the next day or something. Like, I don't know what happened. And then what was I gonna say? Then, I don't know what the first one was. It might have been the Lego Star Wars guy. Oh, I said I didn't collect all of them. Damn it. Just looking around my room.
Come on, Ben.
Like, did I? You'd think I would have prepared this question because, like, this is my.
Yeah, I had an answer immediately. You're just like, oh
Yeah.
God, like you've had this question for hours.
Yeah.
Granted, you just woke up a little bit ago, so
Look, this is true.
I'll give you a little bit of slack.
No, look, actually, it would be Bionicle. I hate to give the obvious answer, but it would have been the Toa Nuva, I would say.
The Nuva.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
It's weird. Side note, I have a lot of nostalgia for the Nuva. Who doesn't?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're like our age or like our age range, because you're not much younger than me.
Yeah.
And it's like, in terms of them actually being sets, I don't really care for them.
No, in hindsight, honestly, they're probably one of the worst Bionicle themes. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna piss some people off saying that.
Well, not theme. You mean like just like the wave of figures?
Oh, sorry. Yes, not
like,
themes. The wave. Yes.
The best ones were, I think Gali and Lewa were the best ones because they were the most like presentable.
Yeah.
But it was the ones that had the more funky looking masks that were just like Tahu just looks weird. Like, you ruined Onua. Bahatu looks okay, but he's like super chunky, and Kopaka's just like, whatever. That's my opinion anyway. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, they were
like they look way less iconic, less iconic than the model.
Yes. Yeah. Side note, just because I really want to cover this. So I went to a Perth convention just recently, and I feel like I should talk about that, especially with you, because I feel like there's a lot to.
Yeah, go down.
So I displayed all of my Bionicles there, and a good whack of Marvel stuff that I had yet to display somewhere. And
all looked very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I was like, okay, let's see what people think of Bionicle. Now, this was in terms of audience, and this was in terms of AFOLs. I wanted to actually speak to, like, the system guys, because I'm the only person who builds Bionicle in Perth. Like, well, other than Felix the Cat, but he's, like, fairly inactive now, and I mean, maybe he still builds, I don't know. Anyway, besides the point. And besides people I don't know, so my apologies if you're like, I build Bionicle and I'm in Perth, and if you are, hey, we should meet up. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Talk to me
my
first.
house. Here's my address.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I going to say? The response that I got was interesting. AFOLs, essentially a lot of them, what they said was like, well, this is like Technic. This is hard to work with. I don't know what this is, you know? And I spoke to one guy specifically, and he's like, what are these? This was an AFOL. And he's like, well, what are these? I'm like, oh, these are Bionicle. He's like, oh, that's right. Yeah, these are the really hard ones to build with, right? And I was like, sure. All right. And I was like, that's a really interesting response. Okay. Yeah. Then the public days, well, the convention really is just public days. It's the little convention that could in in Perth. Now the the majority of my time at this convention, I was in my Spider-Man suit making kids' days, which was fantastic. I had this one little kid come up and just hug me for like 2 minutes, and I was like, Spider-Man means so much to you. That's awesome. Yeah, like it was good taking photos and stuff. Like it was good because I mean, ultimately, that's what the conventions are, right? Inspiring kids the same way that you were inspired when you went to a Lego convention.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, so the times that I was by my display, listening to what people were saying about Bionicle, the majority of it was like, "Oh, those are Transformers, right?" It's like, "Fuck you." But one thing I thought was interesting is one kid came up and he was like, "Oh, I have that one. That's Gully," pointing to Cossy. He's like, "That's Tahu," pointing to Tahu. And he's like, "That's Liwa," pointing to Lakuva, my other guy. And I'm like, "Damn it." I was like, "Hey, at least you're close." Then I had one kid be like, "Hey, how did you build that one?" pointing to Cossy. And I'm like, "How am I supposed to answer that?" I was like, "With my imagination? Like, do you want instructions? I don't know what you want." Anyway,
that is a hard question to answer.
Yeah, right?
I get that too at conventions, and I'm like, how did you make that torso? How did you make this thing? And I'm like, I don't know. I just kept because like that's one thing. And tell me if you agree with this or not.
Sure.
I feel like the ideology of building with system and with Technic/Bionicle is completely different, because I feel like with Bionicle especially, you take a part that you think may look good, and then you just kind of put it somewhere, and if you think it looks good, you then try to find a way to have it attack securely, and then work your way from there.
Yes.
When I feel like system has to be a lot more planned, and it's like you need to figure out like what you're gonna do structurally with certain parts. When I feel like Technic and Bionicle is way more just like freeform. Is that the best way to put it? I don't.
Yes.
I really don't
no,
know.
I would argue that like Bionicle is trial and error, and system is like carving for me. Like I do a lot of landscape and buildings and stuff, and so it's like planning is like, for example, I never plan with a Bionicle. I just build. Like I just kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
Whereas system, I draw up a sketch and I have a decent idea of what I'm doing. I have an image in my head and I build that image. There is still an element of trial and error with system, but it is definitely more like I know what I'm gonna do, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
So yes, no, I would agree with you there. What was I gonna say? Oh, my favorite response. No, my second favorite response is this kid came up. He's like, "Oh wow, Bionicles." I was like, "Hey, how do you know about Bionicles?" And he's like, and then his mum was like, "Oh, he has all the Bionicles. He likes them and stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." And I'm like, "Which Bionicles do you have?" And he's like, "Oh, just like the new generation. I have the old ones. Those are like 30, 40 years old." I just like laughed, and I was like, "I don't know if they're that old. They're more like 10 years old." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
May as well be.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. And then a kid like just next to him was like, "Do these have like a TV show or something?" I'm like, "Actually, they do. Like, I assume it's still on Netflix right now. There's a Bionicle show on Netflix. You should check it out." He's like, "Oh," and like I totally saw in his face like, "I fucking love this. I want to watch Bionicle." And I was like, "Yes,
oh, that's cool.
Yes, someone's been inspired." And like that was really cool. And then this guy came up. He was talking to his friend, and I was just kind of like doing the little sneaky thing I do where I like stand by the mock pretending I'm looking at it, and then suddenly we'll be like, "Hey, I built this." Just so that I can.
I did the same shit.
Yes!
Oh my god! I didn't know if I did the same. I didn't know if I was the only asshole that did that, because I would stand around my mocks and I'm like, the guy that built this is a real asshole. You shouldn't listen.
But like I do that so that they like say their response, and then I can be like, "Thank you," and they'll be like, "Oh," so like that way they're honest instead of just like, I don't know, not saying anything or like feeling like whatever. But yeah, this guy was like, "Oh, there's a Rakshi," and like he just said Rakshi. That was all I heard. He was being kind of quiet. I was like, "What was that you said about a Rakshi?" And he was like, "Oh," and then we started talking, and like this guy knew his shit. Like we went through, and he's like, "What's your favorite Bionicle theme?" And I was like, "Not theme, like wave." And I was like, "Oh, probably the Mari." And he's like, "Yes, I was gonna say the Mari because the Mari are cool. Like Jala was great." Like he knew, and I was like, "Yes." And I had a solid like 20-minute conversation with him. We were just going through like what was the best and worst wave of Bionicle, what was the best set, what were the best Titans and Matora and stuff. And it was so heartwarming. It was so lovely. And like I don't know if he built anything or not, but he was just, I was a big fan of Bionicle, and like I liked G2 coming out, but it wasn't the same, and like all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it was just really, really cool. And like he went through and he's like, "Now I know all these are custom, but that's definitely Tahu, and that's definitely like a Rakshi." And I was like, "Yes, yeah, it is." And yeah, it was really cool. Like there was only one guy who, well, I talked to that actually knew his stuff. But yeah, that was awesome.
I gotta get you friggin' up here back to the States to come to Brick Fair, man. You would super enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll happen. Like, I swear to God, man, like, I will be going to Brick Fair, Virginia at some point. It's just a matter of... Because frickin' uni starts, like, the week of Brick Fair. And it's like, well, that's, like, the worst time, man. But the minute I'm done, I'll be there.
Yeah, man.
So give me 2 more years, and I'll be there. Yeah, it's a long time.
But it's totally awesome. It's okay. If friggin' time goes faster the older you get.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
It'll happen.
It's just super awesome to go to conventions and just see like little kids like inspired by your shit.
Oh yeah.
Like they just point at it and be like, "Look at that guy!" And like that makes me feel so great because like end of the day, that's what matters.
Yes.
Realistically, like these are meant for kids and they get inspired by what we do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Next question is by Jayfamonks on Instagram. All of these are on Instagram.
Jayfa.
Yes. If you want, by the way, I should probably say, if you want to ask a question, hit me up on Instagram. I'll put it on the list. Whether or not I do more of these podcasts, I don't know. This is literally just for example, like I'll post this podcast whenever I want to record some, but then I'll post these if like I have something I want to specifically discuss, like the Ninjago movie. Anyway, this question is: who are lesser known mockers who deserve more recognition?
So he sent this very same question into our podcast.
That's what he said to me. He's like, I'm gonna ask the question that I sent to Brendan last time.
And I answered it, and my answer was, I don't really know. Because the people who I think are really, like, I think Jayfa is personally, I think he's a pretty good mockist, and he's been recognized to some degree, but he's not lesser known. Like, people know about him.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of the handful of people that I follow on Instagram are known to some degree.
Right.
And it's like, I can't think of anyone who's smaller that, I mean, in the Bionicle, like Technic community, I really can't speak to that. You may be able to speak to the system end of it a bit more, but I really don't have an answer to the question. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Honestly, I hadn't even thought about system because of just I was just thinking about Bionicle. My answer to the Bionicle question is a builder on mock pages who, I don't know what the heck's up with mock pages right now, but it is not working.
Yeah, I meant to ask you about that. I heard some scuttlebutt saying the site's been down lately and it may be getting updates.
Yeah. So essentially, the little bits that I have heard is that the website hasn't been updated for a long time because Sean Kenny, the guy who runs the damn thing, he is doing his like around the world tour with his like Art of the Brick show.
I saw that show and it was great.
Yeah, right. I wish I'd seen it. It looks awesome. But yeah, he's doing that, so he's like ridiculously busy and has no time to monitor mock pages. So like, he plans to fix stuff, but like when he's ready. And apparently only he has access to like editing stuff. And a couple of the admins of mock pages are like, Sean, give us the things, we'll do it for you. But like, communication and whatever. So that was the case like when it was still working, but now it's down. So people are like hypothesizing that maybe it's being fixed. Maybe they're fixing all the crap with like all the Java stuff with updating it and all that, or it's just down. It's mock pages. But yeah, there is no like technical real like answer, I guess. And there's been no, like for example, when mock pages used to crash all the time in like 2012, 2011, there was a Facebook page where whoever would post on it and go like, mock pages is just down for some server maintenance, like we'll be back up shortly or whatever. And like I keep checking that, but there's been no updates on that page since like 2013. So yeah, I don't know. I did contact one of the admins on Flickr in the hopes that he'd reply. I haven't got anything yet, but I assume it's just maintenance. I hope it's not dead, because that would really suck.
Because I heard there were a bit of hackers on the website too, and I'm like, oh god. Yeah, that may explain why half of my descriptions are gone.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah, I don't...
Well, that would suck.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would still like to use mock pages.
Right.
But considering there are more social media out there that does it better, and considering Brickley, whenever Brickley finally gets a desktop and a Android version of the website,
right,
then I feel like sites like mock pages are going to be gone. Because here's another Lego-themed social media platform that is not only friendly but also accessible, and that's the one reason why I don't use mock pages, because it's completely inaccessible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, to answer the question from Mr. Jeff Mox, there's one builder who I've been following him since almost day one, and he's been following me since almost day one. He's a really cool guy. His name is Wortman8. I would say go check him out, but he's only on mock pages, and that's down. So if this podcast comes out and mock pages is back, definitely check him out. But he builds some really, really good stuff. He used to build very simplistic characters, there wasn't necessarily any like outstanding techniques on it, but he was so ingenious with part usages and so creative in character design and everything that there was a lot of life in his characters, and he'd always write a story and stuff, so there was also a lot of cool story elements to it as well. But he's grown so much as a builder, and some of his stuff today is really, really good. And he still has that same thing of having a really unique character designs, really unique concepts, really cool ideas. Like for example, there was one mock he built ages ago that I was so like wowed by just as a concept. It was like this like killing robot machine that had like his weapon was like a wheelbarrow with like a machine gun on the front of it or something like that. And I was like, that's just clever. I like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say Wortman8 would be my answer to that.
Nice.
Yeah. The next question is from Dave, and he asks, what's your favorite flavor of Pop-Tart?
Cinnamon roll, because that is the only type of Pop-Tart I've ever tried, and that is the only one I'm ever willing to try, because the rest of them are gross.
So, this is interesting to me, because I am like you, I think. You know how every Gearbox podcast Molly rips into you for being like, this guy hasn't even tried pasta with sauce yet.
Well, that is a lie, but she's pretty much true.
Right.
I don't like eating pasta with sauce more often than not. But yes, you're right.
I used to be like you so much. Do you want to know how many strawberries I've eaten in my entire life?
0.
1.
And
Because someone forced me to. It was alright, like whatever. But I have eaten so few foods. I have watched so few movies. Like, I haven't even seen The Godfather. I hadn't seen Lord of the Rings for so long. I don't know. But yeah, I used to be super picky with food. And yeah, I only stick to what I like. I'll order the same thing, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, totally.
I used to order burgers with just the burger and the patty, you know? Like,
I still do.
yeah. And it's good. It does taste nice.
It's still... Okay, side note. I had a conversation with someone recently. I'm still somewhat of a picky eater, but I have gotten better with age.
Yes.
And I will get down with some vegetables. I'll get down with some fruit. But also, fuck lettuce, tomato, and onions, especially onions. Those are the things I will not eat. But other vegetables, like, you know, I love the shit out of broccoli. I love carrots. I love peas. But it's like, I don't want any of that near my burger. Because a burger to me is or like on a pizza either. Like, that to me is like, that is meat and cheese and bread and just grease. Like, that is a burger for me. Don't add healthy shit in there because this is already unhealthy. Adding that other stuff in there, I don't care if the flavor is better. Just give me my meat and cheese. And have like some vegetables on the side. Don't mix them together.
That's a damn good point. You have a good point there. I like it. Because I'm not gonna lie. Like, for example, I took some photos it was for uni, but it was also for me, of me in my Spider-Man costume. And I wanted to get one of the classic like shots of like mask like rolled up, him eating a burger, like sitting on the side, like in Homecoming, where he's talking to Happy on the phone and he's eating a churro. Like, well, I saved a lady. She bought me a churros. That was cool. You know, like I want to take a photo of that. So I bought a burger and like took the photo. The lighting wasn't right, so like later in the day I bought another one and ate it while I took the photos. And they came out quite good. I think I've posted one of those on Instagram, so go check it out. But yeah, it's the burger I bought was just like a simple like bacon patty and cheese and like maybe barbecue sauce or whatever in the burger. And dude, like, that's a solid burger. Like, sure, I do like a good burger that has like lettuce and all that other crap in it, but like, if it's just bare bone, like the good stuff, that stuff's still really freaking good. I couldn't agree with you more.
As many different types of ice cream there is out there, I'll fuck up some vanilla ice cream.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
You can't go wrong with vanilla. You can't. It's great.
Never have I gone wrong with vanilla. Yeah. Damn right.
What was the actual topic? I feel like
what was your favorite flavor of Pop-Tart?
Every single question. Yeah, cinnamon roll. I tried cinnamon roll on a whim when I was a kid. I liked it, and then that's the only one I ever had.
Nice.
Because I'm like, Here's something.
Mm.
I love real ass strawberries.
Okay, yeah.
I hate I hate anything artificially strawberry flavored.
Oh, wow, okay.
While watermelon, I love every incarnation of artificial watermelon, but I don't like
Yeah.
actual watermelon.
Interesting. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I don't, just cinnamon roll only. But even now I don't eat it as much as I used to because like the hard icing whatever they use that's like baked into it.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts my teeth because my teeth are sensitive to sweet stuff like that. So it's
Yeah,
like
cool.
I avoid eating them every now and again, but I don't know.
Yeah. Now,
Are there Pop-Tarts where you live?
See, I was about to get to that. We, for the longest time, didn't
Oh.
have Pop-Tarts. It was a foreign food. I remember eating my first Pop-Tart when I lived in America for 2 years, which, for those of you who don't know, I used to live in America for 2 years due to Dad having a job there for a bit. That was when I was like, what, in 5th grade, 6th grade? And it was a strawberry one, and I remember taking a bite and thinking it was awful. It was terrible, so I never really ate many more. And then my brother was like, "Oh, we need Pop-Tarts," like when we came back to Australia. And then I think like Dad went back there for a little bit or something and like brought some over or whatever. And the ones I had were like chocolate chip or Oreo ones or something, cookies and cream, maybe not Oreo. And they were phenomenal. I remember eating them, and for whatever reason, I was hyped, even though like my whole experience was that was terrible. And they were really good. And I really do enjoy Pop-Tarts. I think I've only had those two flavors. Maybe I've had like one or two others sprinkled, but those are my two favorites. Is what is it? The chocolate chip and the cookies and cream. And then they started to get them here. We have like a couple stalls in various shopping centers where it's like, here's an American food store essentially, and it's like you can buy all these different American foods. And you know, like you got your like Three Musketeers or like Reese's or a couple other things. Most of it I'm kind of like, yeah, I never really had that, so I don't really feel that excited to. Or it's like, oh, here's a packet of chips for $10. Fuck you, I'm not paying that much. And like every time I'm like, do you have Chesmix? That's the best fucking food in the world. Do you have Chesmix? And they don't. And you know, it's like, I hate you. And then they have Chesmix one time, but it's the worst flavor. And it's like, I don't want that. I want the damn cheese flavor or the blue one, whatever that is. Anyway.
Blue one's good.
The blue one's amazing. Chesmix is, oh, that and Munchies. Have you had Munchies?
Munchies are great.
Oh, oh, God, I love it. Anyway, so yeah, they're like $8 a box at these American food stores. But in more recent times, we now just sell them in shops, and I think they're like $5 a box.
Oh, okay, that's more. They're like $3 here, depending on where you go.
Fair enough. That's probably about equal with exchange rate.
Have you heard about the soda flavored ones?
What?
They made one recently that were root beer flavored, like A&W. I don't know if they have that brand of root beer up there, but they have A&W branded Pop-Tarts, and then Sunkist, which is orange soda flavored Pop-Tarts.
Huh.
And I'm like, that just sounds disgusting.
Sounds like cancer.
It does. It sounds like chemicals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because you just said, I don't know if you have that flavor of root beer. We don't have root beer here. That is not a thing that we do.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. I've never had root beer in its entirety. But I don't drink soft drink, I only drink water, so.
So I grew up. I can't really explain the taste to you. Like it's not like actual beer because like it doesn't have that type of, because actual beer is disgusting.
Yes, it is.
But so I used to hate it growing up. I had it once when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh, this is gross. This tastes like not soda. What the fuck is this? And then I had it again recently when I worked at a liquor store. Even though I really don't drink that often, I still worked at a liquor store because money. But they had free cans of soda whenever you were on your shift. So I just tried different sodas I've never had before. Cool. I've rediscovered that I think Mountain Dew tastes like actual like atomic acid, and you should not be putting that into your body. But I tried root beer again, and I fell in love with it, and I don't know why. And as someone who actively has been trying to stay off of soda, I have it like every once in a while. Like if I have like a burger and fries, like yeah, I'm gonna have a soda with this because fuck it, why not? I'm not gonna drink a burger with water. That sounds weird. But like as someone who's been trying to stay off, as someone who's trying to be staying off of friggin' soda, I've been on a real big root beer kick, and like it's been hurting my teeth a lot lately. And it's like fuck, I have to stop drinking this. But it's like it's so good, I can't not stop.
Yeah, interesting.
Gotta get out of the house.
Yeah. Okay.
But then again, you're also the person who only drinks. You only drink water. Is water in something else? I forget what it is.
Milkshakes is the other one.
Milkshakes, right? So I don't blame you
Yes.
for. I don't want at this point, at this age that you're at right now, and how long you've been doing this. I don't know if you should break that streak or not, unless you go mad. I don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, man.
No, it's like everyone I tell that to, they're like, "Oh, that's so healthy," and I'm like, "Well, I mean, I don't do it for health. I do it just because it's what tastes better." But like,
Yeah.
it sounds like a good thing to keep up.
Like, are you opposed to trying stuff? Like not having a full-on drink, but
I
just, like,
used to be really against it. Like, for example, like I don't know, like tomatoes or something. I'd just be like, "Fuck off! I'm not trying that shit." Um, but now I'm really open to trying new foods. But I do have that thing of like, I'm not terrified, but it's like I don't necessarily want to go to a restaurant and be like, "Fuck it, I'll order that," and then end up with a really disappointing meal because there's nothing worse.
oh, I do this. I avoid that too. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe I can try having this, and I'm like, well, I don't want to waste like $10 on this meal. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, but I mean, like, yeah, I'm way more open now to being like, yeah, I'll try that. Why not? Um, yeah. I used to be like, nope. So, um, no, I did answer the pop tart question. Yes, I did. Okay, final question. I said three. Fuck it, I'll do four. Is from Toa Chirox98, and his question is, what is your favorite, or not what? Who is your favorite superhero?
Superheroes, am I right?
Yeah.
I I have a very weird answer for a very dumb arbitrary reason.
Cool.
Man Thing.
Really?
Solely because I had a Man Thing action figure since I was like 5 years old, and I still have it.
Whoa.
And that was one of my favorite toys growing up. And then I remember reading one comic of Man Thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you what was in it because it was like almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
But I remember super enjoying it, and that's it. But if I had to pick a real answer of like an actual like superhero I know a lot about, it's Spider-Man. Spider-Man hands down is my favorite superhero.
Fantastic.
It's yeah.
Cool. That's really interesting. So, because I was gonna be like, well, what about Swamp Thing? What about the DC version? But then you said like you read a comic with it and had the action figure, so that makes sense. That's really cool. Fuck yeah. Did you like grow up with Spider-Man? Like, did you what is your
yeah.
experience
I
with
had a
superheroes?
lot of Spider-Man toys. One of my favorite Spider-Man toys was one of the Hasbro transforming Spider-Man that turned into some sort of vehicle. Like they had those
Whoa.
line of Marvel superheroes that turned into some sort of vehicle. Not the ones that were in the mid 2000s, the ones that were in the 90s. Like the one that has like the Punisher turning into a gun, but if you mistransform it, he has like a penis gun.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like, it's a really weird toy.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved Spider-Man. I loved watching the shows, and I remember reading some of the comics. Like I think I read like the first couple runs of Ultimate Spider-Man, and loving
Yeah. Cool.
the GameCube game because that was a great game too.
Mm-hmm.
But then I never really got back into Spider-Man until I saw Spectacular Spider-Man, which I feel like is my favorite. I used to say that was my favorite incarnation of Spider-Man, but Homecoming has kind of changed my opinion on that because I feel like they're kind of neck and neck for me now.
Yep.
Because I don't know. I remember telling this to Molly. I'm very, very picky with my version of Spider-Man.
Okay.
There is one version of Spider-Man, and it is the like freshman in college to like senior in high school, kind of plucky young Peter Parker who likes to make jokes and is like just fun. He's having fun, and I feel like the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield versions of Spider-Man were just didn't have any of that fun in it. Tobey Maguire was the better one out of the two, but Andrew Garfield was a terrible Spider-Man. I
Interesting.
couldn't
Okay.
stand a friggin' like overly cocky, like just because like inconsistent. Just I don't know. I something about him just really turned me off.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know what it was.
Yeah.
You probably have stronger opinions than I do.
I've read over 200 Spider-Man comics, probably more. No. Yes. No, that's correct. I literally, like, I was just staring at my comic shelf, like, last night. About half of it is Spider-Man comics. So, like, technically my answer probably would be Spider-Man. As my favorite. Like, I would very much argue that. I I always fluctuate about like a close second or a close third or whatever, but like I kind of have a big like three, I guess, which is Spider-Man is one, Captain America is second, and then Daredevil is third.
Mm-hmm.
but Daredevil often changes. Like, for example, I watched Daredevil season 1 on Netflix like a while back, and I just finished season 2 and lost my mind. It was amazing. Watch that shit if you haven't. Holy crap, it's amazing. Not even like even if you're kind of like, yeah, superheroes are okay. Like even if you're not a diehard fan, watch it. It is probably hands down like my favorite like TV series I've ever watched. Like it is so many twists and turns. It's amazing. Season 1 or 2, either. I love Daredevil so much. I love Captain America. I love Spider-Man. But then like you could be like, well, what about Iron Man or Thor? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I love those guys too. Like it's so difficult for me to pick. I love what they do with the Punisher. I love the whole argument of like, well, he kills people, but he kills bad people, so he's not a bad guy because he does good stuff. But like killing people isn't okay. But you know, I love that argument. Yeah, in terms of like my favorite Spider-Man, look, I wouldn't disagree with you about Spectacular or Spectacular Spider-Man, the TV series, or Homecoming. I think Tom nails Spider-Man. I do also love the 1994 Spider-Man TV series. I have
That
no
was
idea
great.
who their voice star was. Yes.
Especially when they got into the multiple Spideyverse thing.
Oh
That was
yeah.
just that was so great.
Yes. Yeah.
And I have a question actually.
Yes.
I just got a message from Pahatu Lover 65,
Oh yeah. Cool.
and he figured we were recording, and he wanted to ask you. This is very very convenient. He was asking, what's your favorite supervillain?
Whoa! Thank you, Bahatu Lover 70 something. I'm really glad you asked this, actually. So actually this is a perfect segue. I was about to go into, because you mentioned the Spider-Verse stuff that they did in the 1994 Spider-Man series, which was awesome. I loved that episode. Or
It is.
episodes. Was it more than one? Probably.
I think it was a whole season, to be honest with you.
Maybe. I think it was like a 4 or 5 like part of arc or something. I don't remember. Whatever. Anyway,
I don't
besides the
know,
point.
whatever.
This does segue, by the way. I will answer your question. My favorite Spider-Man comics, Spider-Verse, hands down.
Yeah.
Probably the top. Fucking brilliant. Superior Spider-Man. I love that stuff. I will admit, like, nothing beats traditional Peter Parker, but I absolutely love Superior Spider-Man. I think it's great. And people might argue this, but a lot of Brand New Day, and that's like, I'm talking like probably over 100 comics of that. But anything from anything from Brand New Day onwards, in terms of when they quote unquote rebooted Spider-Man, after they, all the Mystifo stuff. The first like comic where it's like him, like, talking to Harry again and meeting. Oh God, I'm terrible. How do I not remember her name? Well, Menace and all that sort of stuff. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, I remember reading the first like issue of Brand New Day, which is like 500 something, and absolutely loving it, and then instantly picking up and reading just from there onwards. Like, all of that stuff is brilliant. Like all the stuff with like the Spider Tracer Killer and just all of that. Absolutely awesome. I love every second of those comics. They're brilliant. Now with Superior Spider-Man, for those of you who don't know, Doc Ock sustained heckload of injuries over his time as a supervillain, and it suddenly starts to really impact him, and he's basically told, you have like 2 months left to live. And
Oh,
he's
it's
like,
this version. Oh, I know
yes.
exactly what you're talking about.
And he's
now.
like,
Yeah.
fuck this shit, I have a plan. He fights Spider-Man, and he switches minds with Peter Parker, and so Peter Parker, quote unquote, dies in Doc Ock's body, and Doc Ock becomes Spider-Man. And then he gains all the memories of Peter and realizes, holy shit, with great power comes great responsibility, and I need to be Spider-Man, but I need to be the superior Spider-Man because I'm better than Peter Parker. And reading Superior Spider-Man, I think it's genuinely the fan consensus that it sounded like a shit concept, but in execution, it was brilliant, and I couldn't agree more with that. Oh, it was phenomenal. I absolutely loved every second of Superior Spider-Man. And you get so much of an insight into Doc Ock, And so probably my favorite villain would be Doc Ock. I also really loved him as a kid, but just seeing so much of his mindset and who he is, I really like. But going on to Daredevil again, probably the Kingpin is a close second.
I love the Kingpin. Oh
Like,
my god.
Yeah.
I loved him in the 94 Spider-Man.
Yes.
He was great.
Yeah. Like, I love the MCU Kingpin. He's so cool, but I also really like the Kingpin in like the 1994, like you said. Just like, like I don't know any quotes from what he said, but just like you can easily like picture his accent, just like all the evil stuff he did. Like, he was so cool. I loved every second of that. Yeah, really good stuff.
I have a top 3 for supervillains.
Yeah, cool, good.
It's kind of a top 4, but like the 2 that are in the second slot are kind of interchangeable.
Cool.
Number 1 is Carnage from Spider-Man for me.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
I like Venom, but I like how manic Carnage is. I enjoy how friggin' batshit he is. Number 2 is a toss up between the Rhino or Mysterio.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because Mysterio's design I've always loved, and I just like how like flamboyant and just how like fun he is as a character.
Yeah.
In every incarnation. And the Rhino, I just like him for being a big brute, and I just love rhinos. Like, my favorite iteration of the Rhino is yes.
Oh, I was just going to add on to the Rhino there. A lot of more like modern Rhino. Like, for example, one of the Brand New Day comics, he's Rhino's in it, and he meets a woman and like falls in love and stuff, and like to be a good husband to her, he like stops turning to crime. And he like becomes like a good guy essentially. Like, he essentially like retires being the Rhino, and someone else like tries to take over, and he's like, fuck off, like I have a wife now, like I'm not doing this. And I think that's fucking awesome. And then later on, spoilers, later on his wife dies. And I haven't actually read it yet, but from what I've picked up, Spider-Man is like slightly responsible. Well, in a Gwen Stacy way, like, you know, he didn't kill her, but like, you know, he could have stopped it, all that sort of stuff. And then Rhino's like super pissed off about it. But like, close number 4 for favorite Spider-Man, the Clone Conspiracy. It's a new one, but it was very, very good. And Rhino's in at the end of that. And there's a beautiful little scene where like, because in the Clone Conspiracy, someone, I won't say who, because that's a spoiler, discovers like this method of bringing people back from the dead. It's called New You, where like essentially they like grow like artificial organs, and like they just need some form of DNA, and they can basically like bring back people from the dead. And it is like, it's literally a bringing back from the dead. Like, they clone a body, but their consciousness is that. So like Gwen Stacy does come back, and it is Gwen Stacy. But it essentially only works for a little bit, and then eventually they turn into zombies. And then like a disease gets like carried out and stuff, and it's like eventually goes to affect like the whole world. But then Peter Parker stops it, you know.
Nice.
And then so like Rhino's wife gets brought back, and he's like, oh my god, like this is amazing. And then obviously she dies again, and Rhino just like goes on a rampage, and he's like, why, like she was alive and now she's dead, this is the fucking worst. And there's this beautiful little scene where Peter's like, dude, I've had people who are close to me die as well, like you just have to like put one foot in front of the other and just keep working and deal with it. And Rhino's like, thanks man. And like, it's absolutely beautiful. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to talk about that.
Before I get on to my third one, I wanna ask you a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
Do you prefer Rhino as being a man in a Rhino suit, or being a dude in a Rhino robot suit?
I don't know why, but I hate him in a robot suit.
I prefer him in I just put him in a Rhino suit, just a regular, like, this is a dude in a suit. I prefer that so much more.
Yeah.
It's sillier, but and it makes more sense for him to be in a giant robot. But you know what? Just whatever. And my third one. Here's a bit of an oddball one for you. MODOK is my third favorite supervillain.
Nice.
I just love how much of an oddball he is. He's just so weird and annoying, and I just like I want to make a mock based on that design, because I think it'd just be fun.
Yeah, it would be. That's cool. Yeah, nice.
Although I should totally know this. Is he Iron Man's villain?
Yes.
Okay.
Or who were you gonna say?
I think I couldn't remember if he was Iron Man's villain or Doctor Strange's villain, but I think he's
no, he'd be Iron Man, yeah, because it's like evil organization sort of stuff. So like, yeah.
Was he in the '94 cartoon?
I don't think so. He
I
was
remember
in
him being,
He's in Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes,
Okay, I remember him
which,
being an old '90s Marvel cartoon, and I don't know if it was like X-Men or if it was something else.
well, maybe
Or
it was the old Iron Man cartoon then.
was there an old '90s Iron Man cartoon?
Yeah, I actually haven't watched it, but like just looking it up because I was like, oh, I want to watch like all the good Marvel cartoons, which Earth's Mightiest Heroes and Spectacular Spider-Man and the '94 Spider-Man are like fucking good shit. And just like looking it up, it was like, oh, there was a '90s Iron Man cartoon. I'm like, really? Because there was one episode of Spider-Man, the 1994 one, where he meets like Iron Man and War Machine and stuff, which I think was like cameoing that series. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's the X-Men cameo series where like Spider-Man meets all the X-Men for the '90s X-Men show. Um, yeah, so I think there was.
Because
I
I
don't know.
remember, like in the state, like when I was growing up, they used to have all the '90s Marvel shows in like a block, a 2 hour block, and so it all
Nice.
kind of like mixes together for me. So like I don't remember who
Yeah,
came
yeah,
from
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah, yeah.
show.
I would say so
Here,
then.
I have a small question for you, which may not be a small question.
Cool.
Um, do you care that the mutants really aren't in the MCU at all?
um, so, oh yeah, this is probably going to be a long question. Now, I want Wolverine in it, like hands down, that'd be amazing. What I hate is how Fox is being a. I was about to say a really bad word there. About how Fox is being a total ass about it. How like, let's make a Venom movie. Let's make a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie just to fuck with Marvel.
Oh.
And it's like, what the hell? Like, give them back these characters, you douchebags.
And
Um,
they did. They
and
licensed
they
it
did,
out.
and they did, which good for them. Thank you very much. But it kind of annoys me. As long as they do a good job, I hope they do a good job. I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like Fox, apart from Logan, and Deadpool, have ever done X-Men movies properly. I've
I agree.
enjoyed almost every X-Men movie, almost. I think they're good, but they just are missing something every time. And that's something, if they gave the rights back to Marvel Studios, they would fix that. So, as a matter of principle, I'm like, give them back the rights to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and bring them home like they did with Spider-Man, and finally we can have these movies done with justice.
Oh God, can I make a number 5 and say Doctor Doom? Because I forgot Doctor Doom.
Oh,
Fuck.
yeah. Of course you can.
God damn it! I want to make a good Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
There
Why
never
haven't we
was
had
one.
No.
God,
And I hate that.
I love
Don't make
I
Galactus a
love Ben
cloud.
Grimm.
Yeah, right?
Oh God,
I want it. I want it. I want
assholes.
fucking Reed Richards talking to Iron Man and Iron Man being
Oh yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, um,
Oh God.
so like, look, I think currently where the MCU is at, mutants would be a bit of a like that's a whole nother ballpark. And I mean, like, a lot of mutant history is like based in like the '80s and '90s and '70s and stuff. So like, as in, like, I mean, apart from maybe like the Ultimate Universe and stuff, like I feel like it would be a lot of like rewriting that would be needed that wouldn't maybe necessarily be comic book accurate for them to put it in with modern times and the MCU. But I don't distrust that Marvel would do a bad job of that. I feel it would be very much like Homecoming, of like just modernizing it in some fashion. I think people would really take to that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a Phase 4 thing or a Phase 5 thing with Marvel. I definitely could see how possible that is. But I certainly think that currently where the MCU is at, they don't need it right now,
Mm-hmm.
but they definitely do in the future.
Because
Um,
what's that Netflix show they just put out? That's
oh,
like
Gifted?
surrounding mutants. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
I don't know a huge amount about it, but essentially it's got like Polaris in it, and it's got who else is in it? I don't remember, but it's got a couple mutants in it who, we haven't really seen in any other like movies or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people be like, "Oh, it's awful. It's a TV show like Blair," but I've heard some people be like, "This was surprisingly good." So I don't know
Mm.
where to stand with it. I've heard both ends of the spectrum, and essentially, like, apparently from what I've gathered of what the plot is, it's like there's been some event that's killed off like the majority of like all of Xavier's school. So like Logan's dead, like it's Cyclops. Everyone's gone, and all of like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, like Magneto, like everyone's dead. There's, well, maybe not dead. I don't know, but there's been some event that's like caused everyone to like not be there. And so there's only like a select handful of mutants now. And I think it's essentially just like an X-Men TV show. But like I know that that's a thing apparently. Yeah. But it seems like there's a lot of like Easter eggs and references. Like it's not one of those stupid TV shows where it's like there's a whole bunch of content that this relates to, but we're really not going to touch on it. Like apparently like they're planning on making reference to like Polaris being Magneto's like daughter and all that sort of stuff.
Interesting. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Because I heard a lot of stuff about it. I don't know much about it, but I keep seeing people talk about like this is what's gonna get a one up on Fox. We got a mutant show, but we're not calling the mutants. Here's the one thing though. It's like I want Fantastic Four, and I'm like, give me some friggin' Skrulls. Like that could be such an interesting movie if you add Skrulls into it.
Captain Marvel stuff?
No.
So Captain Marvel has fuck all right now, but there's art of her in her costume, which is like concept art, and there's concept art for Skrulls in the movie.
Oh God.
So currently the plot for the Captain Marvel movie is it's set in the 90s, and Nick Fury will be in it with both of his eyes.
Ah, fucking A.
Right? And then someone posted a thing where, remember the end of Iron Man 1, how he's like, you're not the only superhero in this world. Obviously is now a reference to Captain Marvel. And someone posted a thing where they're like, anyone remember this scene in Winter Soldier where he's like, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. So that totally tells me that someone's going to be a fucking Skrull, and then it's going to be revealed, and then he's going to lose his fucking eye. Oh, and then we're totally going to fucking get Secret Invasion as the next Avengers movie, which I'm so fucking excited for. And then people are like, wait, who in the Avengers is a Skrull? Clearly someone's been a Skrull this entire time. And I'm like, wait, you might be right. Who? Oh. So like...
Tony Stark.
Oh, dude, that would be insane.
Oh, that would be...
Because the whole time I'm like, well, everyone's had a solo movie. Like, you couldn't just make someone a Skrull. Like, or could you? Or like, maybe they'll become a Skrull like now. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's my dream post-credit scene. Is just, like... I don't even know how it would be executed. But like, freaking Captain America just, like, walking into a room or something. Just like, I don't know, just like... taking his costume off, he's just like doing his life, and then he just like turns around and gets shot, and it's like, what the fuck? And then this like Skrull just like mutates into his body, and it's just like, he loves you very much, and then it just like cuts, and it's like, oh, that's my dream.
We have to end this podcast. I'm wet. God, I was excited for the Captain Marvel movie, and now you mentioned Skrulls, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, right. Oh, I can't wait.
Man.
I just remember seeing, because I think they announced that at some Comic-Con or something, and I like lost my mind. I'm like, this means so much. The fact that they just said Skrulls, like, oh my God. And like, Skrulls are Fantastic Four material, so I don't know if that just like managed to seep through like the Watchers did in. Oh God, I've spoiled something. You know, like maybe Marvel secretly has the Fantastic Four rights, and we don't know about it. Maybe it's like
Fantastic Four. Yeah, sorry.
Maybe it's sorry, I was only going to add, like, maybe it's like Spider-Man, like they just got a couple characters from that, but they don't have everyone. What were you going to want?
Yeah, I don't know. I want a Fantastic Four movie that is not an origin story.
Just
me
too.
Dump me into that world. Just give me orange ass friggin'. Just give me the Thing. Give me Reed Richards doing his goddamn thing. Like, have like him being married to Invisible Woman already. Like, just do it. Just make that movie. Give me green cloak, silver-bodied Victor Von Doom, and just let's go. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yes.
God.
You know what? I hope is the case, and Marvel's just being like the ultimate, secretive trolls about it. If the one character that I'm not going to say who is in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that is a Fantastic Four character. And if we have Skrulls in Captain Marvel, you may not even recognize it. Like, it was me and this one kid next to me in the whole movie cinema, like, screaming when it came on screen for, like, 2 seconds. And everyone else was like, who's that? I don't understand. And I was just like, you don't understand what this means. But there's those two characters. What I would hope happens happens is that Marvel just doesn't announce it, and it just appears suddenly in Infinity War, and it's just like, we need help, and then suddenly the Fantastic Four are there, and it's like, that's right, guys, we had the rights, we got it back, but we didn't tell you. That would be cool.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Yeah. Like how they announced everything with Spider-Man with Civil War. Like, imagine if they hadn't, and it was just like, I know a guy, and then suddenly like, is that Peter Parker? Can you imagine? That would have been so cool.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, because everyone would be like, oh, we'll never have Spider-Man in the MCU. And then it's like, wait,
Bullshit.
who's he going to get, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's rumors that Namor will be in Infinity War.
Who's that again?
He's like one of the first Marvel superheroes. He's a mutant, but he's the king of Atlantis.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah. Because someone noticed, like, on the set of Infinity War, the guy who played Silver Samurai in the Wolverine, he was on set, and everyone's like, why is he here? Like, and I mean, like, a lot of people have this weird stigma. Like, for example, when Josh Brolin got cast as Cable, which I'm so excited about, people were like, how will this affect him playing Thanos in the MCU? And I'm like, he's an actor. He can play more than one character. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. And people were like, but how can this guy who played the Silver Samurai in X-Men be playing someone else in the MCU? What does this mean? I'm like, he can play more than one character. But a lot of people are like speculating that that's Namor, which I would be excited for. And we've had a Namor teaser in Iron Man 2. Well, teaser in inverted commas, but you know. Yeah, so we never know.
And
they have the rights to
movies.
Him, so.
Oh, cool. I would like to see that. Which of the Iron Man movies do you think has held up the most?
Held up, as in, is my favorite, or
in terms what of like which one could you just sit down with and still enjoy to this day the most?
See, I'm one of those people who had no qualms with Iron Man 3 and Iron Man 2. I enjoyed them regardless. A lot of people were like, there was no plot in Iron Man 2, and a lot of people hated Iron Man 3 because, like, they didn't do justice to Mandarin and all that sort of stuff.
Who cares?
But I still really liked those. But I think there's a lot of sit down, I can still watch it value with Iron Man 1. And I think that's still a very good movie.
See, I almost watched Iron Man 1 the other day, and hence why I asked this question. Yep. And I'm like, I don't remember. I remember I saw it in theaters once, and that was the only time I ever saw it. And I've seen Iron Man 2 multiple times, and I think Iron Man 2 is my favorite one out of the three.
Okay.
And then 3, I watched through 2 times, and I'm like, this is okay, but I don't like it as much. I think it's alright. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I am debating on watching Iron Man 1 because that was the one that started it all. And I'm also one of the weirdos that love, like, one of my favorite Marvel movies is still the first Captain America movie. I don't know what it is.
I don't, like, I've talked to people and they're like, the first Captain America movie is alright, it's not that great. I don't understand that. It's fantastic. It's a great movie.
I'm a sucker for period piece movies, and that movie does it so well.
It does.
It's great.
So good. Oh, here's the next question.
We're gonna be here all goddamn day.
We are gonna be here all damn day. I don't care. Best MCU movie.
Oh God.
You can do a top 3 if you want. Like, you don't have to be like number 1.
Am I a bad person for saying Guardians?
No, you're not.
Because I feel like I feel like everyone says, like, oh, Guardians is the best one because it was the most unique and was the funniest. But it's like the first Guardians for me, then Captain America 1.
Cool.
And then probably I feel like Avengers is also an easy answer.
Right.
But because of my extreme bias, I kind of want to say Age of Ultron just because of Ultron. Because I really love...
cool, okay.
I don't know. Because the rest of that movie's kind of...
No, go on.
No, I'm sorry. The rest of that movie's kind of garbage. I just like all the scenes with... Like, the opening scene with Ultron fucking walking out like a freaking corpse to everyone in the lounge is still like a really good scene to me. Like, I fucking... Oh, God.
What I was
I think my real...
No, you go.
God damn it! I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's just the lag.
My real answer, okay, it's Captain America 1, Guardians of the Galaxy, and probably Iron Man 2.
Cool. Okay. Interesting, controversial answers in my opinion, because because I agree with Iron Man 2 being really good because it has that thing where like an origin story is good because you kind of that's kind of how you fall in love with the character in a sense. But like nothing beats the sequel where it's like you already know who they are. Let's just jump straight into the world. You know that you don't have to like quote unquote waste time with telling them how it all happened. You know,
Right.
or like discovering your powers or whatever. So that's what I really liked about Iron Man 2 is it was just like here's fucking Iron Man. You know. So yeah, I really liked that. I will admit the end fight was a little bit like quick. It would have been nicer to have had a
Yeah.
longer fight with Whiplash, but it was what it was. But I still fucking love Iron Man too. But no, I think those are great answers. But yeah, it's interesting. I know there'd be a lot of people who would be like, Captain America 1 sucked and Iron Man 2 was terrible. But no, those are great answers. My two.
You could
Sorry,
say
my.
you could say the villain of Iron Man 2 was Tony Stark himself.
Oh, you could indeed.
Okay, but
You
your
could
your
say
two
the villain
favorites.
of Civil War was Tony Stark.
That is true.
Yeah. My answers to that question are. This is not an order because it's really hard to pick.
Right.
But my like probably like tied for number 1 and 2 would be Captain America's Winter Soldier and Homecoming.
Oh, fuck me. Hold on. For some reason I didn't connect that as being an MCU movie just because it's Spider-Man and I still haven't registered that Spider-Man is partially with Marvel now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, then my answer is number 1 Homecoming, number 2 Guardians, number 3 Captain America.
Cool. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Then so that's like tied for 1 and 2. Then it's either Avengers or Civil War. I can't put a thing on it. Like Avengers is phenomenal. I really like how they did it. And then there's the like just awesome factor that Civil War has. But again, I can't pick a favorite. Favorites are hard. I hate favorites, but I also love favorites. I don't know.
Hey man, you asked the question.
I did ask the question. I can't really argue here.
I feel like the next time we do one of these, it's just going to be like, what's your favorite Pokemon type? What's your favorite Psychic type? What's your favorite Fire type? I've done that
Right.
before with friends. It would be like a 2-hour conversation.
Dude, that's the next one. Let's do it.
Yeah. Or we can do it right now. Another 2 hours. Let's go.
I mean, like, I kind of want to, but I feel like, this is supposed to be a podcast
but
about Lego,
I need to go to bed and also shower at some point.
Right.
So, man.
So I was gonna do a little, like, let's also talk about just how we're doing. What have we been up to? All that kind of stuff. But we have been going a while. So, I mean, unless you want to do, like, a quick, like,
I'm
boom,
down
boom,
to do
boom.
that if you want. Like,
Yeah, I'm down.
I can talk about what's going on. Yeah.
I suppose we should talk about Lego in this Lego podcast.
Well, I guess we should talk about the Ninjago movie, considering that's probably going to be the title of this thing, even though more than half of it has been about the MCU. I don't know, dude. In terms of news, nothing too exciting. I just unpacked Tempest from my Brick Fair, Virginia pack. So all my mocks from Brick Fair, which was in early August, so it's been more than 2 months now. They've all still been in plastic bags, wrapped up. And I finally broke down and bought 2 giant pieces of foam board, and I had a big enough background for Tempest. And so I just took pictures of him today and did a small review, so I'm going to edit that at some point.
That's exciting.
I also took well, Ben might know what this is now. I took the pictures in RAW as opposed to just straight up JPEGs, so I'm going to do some finer editing to make the pictures look nicer.
Cool.
Which I've always known how to do for years, but I've always just kind of been lazy, where I'm just like, just give me the JPEGs. I really don't feel like editing it unless I have to crop it. And so, considering this mock means a lot more to me, I want to take the time to get better pictures. So.
Yeah, cool.
Otherwise, I've just kind of been working every day. I work like 9 to 10 hour days every day of the week from Monday through Friday, and I have weekends off. And on the weekends, like today, I'm fairly exhausted. But otherwise, everything's good. I mean, I have some ideas for mocks. I got a ton. I got a lot of good parts in lately, so I have over 100 black ball joints now. In fact, over 150. So I'm restocked. Otherwise, nothing else too exciting going on with me.
Nice.
What about you, Bean? What's up?
I've been flat out with university. I've been doing
Flat out.
assignments. I've been going head on, and like it's the annoying thing where it's like 3 weeks until the end of term, and that's when everyone decides to make their assignments due. So it's like I got a lot going on. So I haven't had a lot of time for Lego. Like I just had the PerthCon, like I said before. So like I've kind of like done a lot of Lego in that regard, and like I kind of aimed to build stuff to be ready for that. So. But since that Lego Con, I've done very little Lego, but that's just because I've been like I gotta catch up because I essentially had a full weekend where I didn't where however long the convention was I just did the convention and didn't do any work, so it's kind of like I have to play catch up in a sense. So but otherwise I have like 5 mocks I still need to post. So I got a bunch of Marvel stuff and even some more Bionicles that I'll be posting soon. So I got that. I started working on a medium blue Bionicle, which I posted on Instagram. I posted a very like tentative whip. It looked like a final model, which in a sense it was, but it was like I'm not happy with this. I want to finesse stuff. Like there's too many different textures on it and stuff. So
I forgot to comment on that, so I may as well give you my hot take on it now.
Oh.
I kind of don't like. I like the torso, but I don't think it fits the mock.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember the arm design in particular, but I don't remember it being bad. I think it totally fits.
Oh, really? I thought it was the opposite. But okay, cool. Okay.
I don't fully remember. I just remember the legs in that build still being super solid. So.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
What you got, and the mask is also good too. The mask is a good fit. I just don't know if the body is necessarily a good fit.
Interesting, because I had a lot of people be like, I don't like the mask. So, but I think I'll decide on the mask like once I kind of like finesse with the body a bit, because I agree, it didn't feel right.
Maybe like a Taraga Vakama mask may be good with that one.
Oh, and that does come in medium blue, doesn't it?
It does come in medium blue.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that actually would be cool. Yeah, I'll have to order some stuff. Speaking of orders, I have a Bricklink order on the way. It was just for 4 masks. One of them was a minion mask. The other was for a mock that I've made that it's entirely done. It just has a painted red mask at the moment, which I want, the proper one. And then I bought a couple others. So I don't know what I'll do with those, but yeah. But otherwise, that's about it, man.
I wish I can get back into mask collecting because I almost have a complete set. I just haven't. Because I started doing it like 4 years ago when the masks were still like maybe about $1 a piece.
Yeah.
And now they're like upwards to $5 to $6 a piece, and I'm like,
right.
I can't justify it anymore.
I feel like every Bionicle mask has gone up in value. Like even like the bloody yellow cow has gone up like considerably.
Oh, for sure. And it has, and I can't even imagine what the light trans blue one is now too.
Yeah, gosh.
Do you know what that came in? Obviously, it wasn't a set. Same thing with the yellow cow, but like, what promotion did those come from?
I didn't think they were. I thought they were just. I thought they were like the European misprints in the mask packs. I thought they were just one of those. Were they not?
I really don't know. I'm asking you because I don't know. I always assumed they were like some sort of promotion that Lego had, like the trans blue Golly mask you mentioned earlier. Like I thought they were some sort of promotion from Beeland or something.
Right. I mean, I know the trans yellow Mirus were the Legoland exclusive ones, like with the copper masks.
Oh yeah.
But
and
those
are like a dime a dozen though.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Honestly, I think that. Because I remember hearing a story. I think it was Brian Sledge or someone who worked for Lego or worked near Lego or something. Like, just went into the bins at the Lego factories and found like a bag full of yellow cows because they're like, yeah, we printed them wrong, sods. Like, and they were just like, can I have these? I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna throw them out. Why not? I don't know if that's a real story or not, but either way, that's amazing. Yeah, right.
Mark Stafford. He's not related. I just wanted to say Mark Stafford.
I feel like we have to say his name in every podcast we're in.
We have to talk about Pokemon at least once. We have to talk about Marvel at least once, and we have to mention Mark Stafford at least once every time you and I are in anything.
We do. All right. Here's the Pokemon talk. 12-hour long podcast. I saw this article last night, and it looks like a bloody clickbait stupid thing, but it was a promotion for like Pokemon toys. And it went through the current anime, which I can tell you very little about because I've not watched it in its entirety.
I can tell you right now it's good.
Cool, interesting. It looks good. Like the stuff with bringing Misty and Brock back, I'm like, that's awesome.
The animation is great.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you finish your thought. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I feel like
I
I
was
keep
just gonna say,
interrupting.
like, a lot of people got super hyped that they were bringing them back, but I'm like, have you guys watched the episodes where they brought them back before? This isn't technically new, but okay.
It isn't. It's the same level of like there are one or two episodes and then that's it. But like just the
Mm.
animation's great. The comedy is actually super well done, and
Oh, cool.
it's there are filler episodes, but I feel like they're well written to actually have you care about the characters that are in that show.
That's cool. Okay.
Like they just had an episode recently where Luzamine showed up and like the Aether Federation, and I'm like, Federation? Foundation. They're not a federation. But
Uh-huh.
they showed up recently, and you just get to see like Luzamine be her crazy self in an anime, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. I like this.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, the toy was like, here's Z crystals with these accompanying Pokemon, and like you get like whoever all the individual figures are that are in Pokemon School with Ash, and it's like, here's this guy with their Pokemon and this Z crystal, and it's like all the different characters with their like signature Pokemon. But then Ash's signature Pokemon is Salego and not Pikachu. And people are like, why is that the case? And then there's like a rumor going around that like Ash is going to catch a legendary Pokemon,
Um.
which I think is the most thinly linked rumor because it's a toy and you can never trust what the toys say because, you know.
Yeah. Based on the anime, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah, I figured. I didn't think they'd ever have the balls to be like, Ash is going to catch a legendary. And not even the balls. I don't agree with the fact that you can catch legendaries. It's like catching Arceus. It's like, oh, I just tamed God. Oops. You know, like
Whoops.
that shouldn't be possible, right?
It's like how this is so confusing to me.
Mm.
So like, you assume there's one of every legendary, right?
Yes.
Presumably.
Yeah.
Except
I
there
know
are
that
multiple
in
Lugias.
concept there isn't. Yeah, exactly.
And I still think there are multiple Mewtwo's, I think.
Really?
I don't... Because there's the original Mewtwo that you and I know, that we grew up
Yeah.
with, and then there was another Mewtwo that was in the Sinnoh episodes that had like a female voice actress. And
Was
like,
that the movie
it,
or was it?
I don't... It was in the anime.
Oh,
And
okay.
and like that Mewtwo confronted Ash, and like they had no idea who he was.
Huh.
And I'm like, what? I don't.
Yeah.
But then
'Cause
you
I
also,
remember-
like,
No. You go.
no, after you.
All right, I will. Because I remember there was one. There was one time I was just like, okay, what the fuck is a legendary Pokemon? Like, why are there two Lugias? Why are there like four Zapdoses? Like, what is this? And so I just Googled it, and essentially, like, the lore behind it is it's either a super, super rare Pokemon, or it's a Pokemon associated with a lot of myth and legend, or a Pokemon where there's only one of. So something like Arceus, there's only one of. A Pokemon associated with myth and legend could be like Suicune or Entei. And then a Pokemon that's super rare could be something like Mew, where like technically Mew's the ancestor of all Pokemon, so like technically like all Pokemon were Mews at one point, but like there's one Mew that didn't evolve into, you know, all the different Pokemon, so like that Mew
Right.
is now a legendary. But there could be more than one Mew that just didn't evolve further enough, you know. So I guess there's some Pokemon like Lugia, for example, how like it had the child in the one anime episode, that it's considered legendary just because there's like two of them, but it's also ridiculously powerful, all that sort of stuff.
Okay. What generation has your favorite legendaries? Like, this generation has the most of my favorite legendaries, so it must be this one.
Like, because the first Pokemon game I picked up was Emerald, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the crap out of that. That's got like 400 hours into it or something. And I then, after I played Emerald, played like, you know, Ruby Sapphire, Violet, Red Leaf Green. But then when Diamond and Pearl came out, I bought that like day it came out. And that to me was that was like my pinnacle of Pokemon, because it was the first time I got like super hyped for a game. When I played all the way through it, and it was like, wow, this is amazing, and like talking to my friend as we played and like battling each other, all that stuff. So that felt more like the Pokemon experience, because it was like, it was fresh, it was new, it was coming out, all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So like I feel a lot of attachment to Sinnoh legendaries, but I also kind of dislike the fact that there's like 14 of them, and like there's that one photo where it like shows you all the individual legendaries of each generation, and it's like Mewtwo Mewtwo at the end.
Oh
Being
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
back in my day, being a legendary meant something. And like part of me is like, well, yeah, you know. And I like the fact that a lot of the legendaries are semi-justified in Sinnoh. Like they all kind of have a nice story to them, and there's myth and legend associated with it, which is cool. And I remember as a kid like loving that, like trying to like reverse engineer and like figure out like some of the deeper intricacies of all that was cool. So like I have a lot of attachment to Sinnoh legendaries, but I don't like all of them. Like for example, like Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie, like as cool as they are, well, sorry, as nice as they are in the story, they're not that cool a Pokemon. Like I would probably never use any. I feel like I have to go for the really obvious answer here and just say Kanto ones. Just because the designs are really solid, and like no matter how much I try, I always keep kind of going back to like the legendary birds or Mewtwo and stuff, and just being like, actually, these guys are really cool. And I mean, like Johto's were okay. Sorry, I was just about to go through all of them, but and like Hoenns are cool, but it's still not the same as like Kanto, and I feel that's the same with most of them. I do like Xerneas and Yveltal, but anyway, who's it for you?
Hoenn is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
So, as someone who does not like playing Generation 3 at all, for the exception of Leaf Green, third gen I did not play as a kid because I just didn't like it. Every time I tried to play it, when I got older, I never liked playing them. But growing up, I had a poster of all the Gen 3 Pokemon on my wall for a good 5 years. And that's how I got the that's how I ended up loving Metagross, because I'm like, who is this Pokemon? I want to play as him. And then when I played Pokemon Pearl, and there was a swarm where it's like, you can catch this Beldum on Route 52. It's like, and I caught him, and I finally had my boy.
Cool.
But my favorite trio of legendaries are the Reggies, because I just fucking love the Reggies. I love how crazy they are. I love that they're like these I love golem creatures, and I think they're really cool.
Yeah.
Deoxys is my favorite like standalone legendary.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Deoxys.
Sure. I like Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. I think they're fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I would rather take Giratina, Palkia, and Dialga.
Yeah.
And I like Jirachi. I think
I love Jirachi. He's adorable.
I think my second pick would be Sinnoh, though, because I like Dialga, Palkia, and Dialga. I super love Darkrai. I love Cresselia. I think Shaman's really cool. And just Arceus is just a really cool concept of a Pokemon god.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
My least favorite, though, is probably second gen. Because second gen was like the first games I played seriously as a kid.
Yeah.
But I don't really care about Lugia or Ho-Oh or Celebi that much.
Yeah.
Or I like the dogs. Well, they're not really dogs, they're beasts, but
yeah.
I like each of them, but it's like, I don't know. I can take it or leave them.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there, actually. I actually would argue that I like what they have story-wise in Black and White, but I actually don't like Reshiram or Zekrom that much. Looks-wise.
I like the way Zekrom looks. Reshiram's okay. I like standalone Kyurem. The fused versions of all those dudes, I don't think look all that great.
Right.
I can't tell you the other legendaries that were in 5th gen. Oh wait, there were the genies, and then there were
Victini.
Oh, I forgot about Victini.
I love Victini. He's adorable.
It's adorable. I just forgot about it. We really should end this podcast because I would like to take a shower at some point. A quick question. Do you count the Ultra Beasts as being legendaries, or do you count them as being Ultra Beasts?
See, I still haven't bloody finished Sun and Moon. I've been so busy.
Oh, right, you haven't.
No, but I know essentially what they are. I think I'm pretty sure they're Pokemon from an alternate universe.
You are correct.
Yeah, cool. I figured. I mean, because currently where I'm at the game is that I just defeated Team Skull at the city, and then Edgelord McGee came up and was like grasping his hand like it's in pain or something. He's like, we need to go to the Aether Foundation, and then Tahu's like, Tahu's like, why do we need to go to the 8th Foundation? He's like, you fool. And then I've just arrived at the 8th Foundation. I'm kind of making the link of like, okay, the 8th Foundation, like I predicted, are bad guys. And there's something about the Ultra Beasts and blah blah blue and all the portals and stuff. I'm like, this has to be alternate universe Pokemon. So no spoilers, comments, or I'll cut you.
Did you?
But yeah.
Did you get to the part where Lily does a thing?
No, unless you mean the opening of the game.
No. Okay, then when you get to that part and you'll know when it happens, that's when the game seriously opens up.
Ooh, excited. Okay.
Did you see the new Pokemon that were released in that trailer?
Yes, and which ones do you mean? The Ultra Beasts.
There's the candy looking one, and then there's like the factory one, and then there's like UB adhesive.
Yeah.
I like that Pokemon a lot, but it looks more like a Pokemon and not an Ultra Beast.
Oh, interesting.
Is that weird to say? Because like it looks like one of those cutesy legendaries like a Celebi or Jirachi more so than like it being like an actual beast.
You raise a good point. Like when I did it, yes, it does. Yeah, because the Ultra Beasts have like a very different, unique style to them, which I like that because it's like they don't quite look like Pokemon, but they still do, and that's kind of what makes them, alternate universe Pokemon. So I like that. But yeah, I will agree with you. The what's her name? That new cutesy wootsy one does look very Pokemon.
What kind of name is UB adhesive? Like, girl, UB adhesive. Like, that's all I can think about whenever I hear that name. Like, I can't take you seriously. Your name is friggin' adhesive. Which you probably
I'm not gonna lie.
Name.
Yeah, a lot of the Ultra Beasts don't have the best name, to be honest. But
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is super cute though. I like it. It kind of also looks like one of the Pokemon from the movie things that they did in Black and White too.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
My friend, I hate to tell you this, but we've been recording for 2.5 hours, and as much as I love talking with you, one, I need to do some shit before I go to bed, and two, you are still fairly new to editing podcasts, and this is going to be a long one for you.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. No, that's a good point. All right. I agree with Brendan. Let us end it here. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, Brendan, for coming on the show. Great having a chat with you. If people want to find you on the internet, where can they find you?
They can go to Pornhub.com and type in your mom, and then you'll see where my face is. No, if you want to find me, you can you can look up Shadowgear6335. Again, if you're watching this show, you probably know who I am. But if you don't, you can mainly follow my Instagram, my Twitter, and my YouTube. That's where I'm the most active, and you can take it from there.
Sounds good.
Or you can follow my other websites that I'm on. Like you can friend me on Xbox Live. You can follow me on mock pages. You can send me a postcard. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's right. Is Xbox Live not a thing anymore? Is that why you said that?
No, it's still a thing. I just haven't touched my Xbox in like 5
cool.
years. I don't know.
Perfect. Yeah. So go check his stuff out. Go check out some of the latest Gearboxes. I'm sure your Ninjago discussion one will be there. So if you're like, man, there was too much Marvel talking here, go check out the that podcast because they'll be talking.
There's a lot more bitching in that one, so be prepared.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, it's exciting. People complaining on the internet is very exciting. That's what people love.
Yes, that's right. Sweet. So, thank you very much for listening. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.
See you in the next Beanpod.